Hi y'all, good morning. At least I hope it's gonna be a good morning anyway. We're a few minutes before sunrise, so hopefully you can see me here okay, but I'm about to hop in the kayak. We're gonna take off. We gotta get some bait here. I'm hoping to catfish today. Got my catfish gear with me, but I don't have much bait. I went out yesterday, it was a disaster, so we're gonna try to catch us some bait here as we make our way along, so best of luck. Good news is, if you're seeing this video, as I push myself off here and get in the kayak, if you're seeing this, it's a good sign that things have went our way today. And right now, at this moment, we need about two things to go our way. We need to catch bait, and we need to catch some catfish. And if both those things happen, you're seeing this video. So, spoiler alert for anybody here watching this at the moment, things have went well for us today. But it did not go well for me yesterday as I was trying to get us some bait for today. So we're gonna troll. I'm about to throw out, well, I should have showed you that. I'll show you the next one here before I launch it out. I'm gonna troll us a couple spoons as we make our way along. If we can get, I don't care, one or two skipjack or white bass on the way up through here to add with what I've got, will be good. This is it's a sumo spoon, is what this is, just a small curved piece of metal. I'm throwing it on bass gear, 6.5 foot long, medium heavy bass rods. I got 30-pound braid, 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. And I'm gonna just run it out here just a little ways behind us. And we're gonna start trolling. And I'm seeing, man, look at all that bait right there as we start to drop off. Look at all that. There's a ton of bait down there. Hopefully we're gonna run into some skipjack or white bass. I don't care. I've got two skipjack in the cooler. I went bait fishing yesterday, 4 hours, 2 skips. And it wasn't like I was getting bit and they were spitting the hook. You know, that oftentimes happens with skipjack. I wasn't getting bit at all. Like those 2 skips are the only 2 bites I had in 4 hours. So I'm trying a different area here today, just to try to get bait. I've hit a different body of water yesterday for the skips, and it's been producing. Like I've been getting skips there, not yesterday. So I thought I'd come out here and see. I fished downriver from here on a recent catfish trip. Y'all have seen that video, regular viewers. And, you know, first light, you're seeing some white bass, some skipjack and stuff jumping around. So I thought I'd come try to fish this area again today for catfish, assuming we could maybe pick off a bait or two here on the way. So I'm gonna put y'all in the chest, bring you with me. I guess we're gonna go through we got a lot of people out here for a weekday. This is a little bit more of a busier boat ramp out in here today. There's a lot more boat traffic in this area, so got a couple people out here. Looks like they're, I don't know what they're doing. Crappie fishing, I guess. Man, this, I wanted to show you this though right here. I got the graph on here. Look at all that bait, man. It's deeper though. It's about 12 feet deep. These spoons ain't gonna run that deep. Maybe that was my problem yesterday. I didn't have the graph on yesterday when I was trying to get bait. A lot of people seem to believe, and I don't really know if this is true or not, but a lot of people believe that skipjack are sensitive to these transducer pinging. You know, we don't hear it, but the fish do, as that transducer sends that beam down to the bottom and back up to get your reading on the screen. A lot of people believe that the skipjack are sensitive to it. And so normally, if I'm just going out and I'm trolling for skipjack, I just leave my graph off if I'm in this kayak, because I know, like right now, I'm pedaling along, casual pace. I'm going 2.4, 2.5, so I'm actually going to pick up this pace a little bit. But anywhere, 2.5, 3 miles an hour, like you're good. That's a perfect, oh, that guy over there, he's had a bad night, folks. He's broke down. He's paddling back to the ramp right there. That's a bad day when you got to paddle a boat. If my propulsion system breaks down here, well, I guess technically my propulsion system would be my legs. If I break them, we've had a real bad day. But if my pedal drive itself broke, I got the paddle here behind me, so not a big deal to paddle this kayak. Trying to paddle my other one, my Hobie, God help you. That makes for a bad day. Not as bad as this guy over here in the boat, but a bad day nonetheless. So I'm gonna just get over here and kind of work us back up shallow over here. I have in times past, years past, been able to just catch skips and white bass along the main channel all the way up through here, but I'm not really seeing much surface activity. Well, I'm not seeing any, honestly. And the bait we are seeing there looks like it's significantly deeper, so we'll just work over here shallower and see what's going on. We don't have to worry about bait being 12 feet deep if we're not in but 7 or 8 feet of water. They can't be, unless they died a few years ago and they're 6 foot under. Yeah, man, I went out yesterday. Place I've been tearing up some skips, and nothing was happening. I mean, nothing was happening. And that's concerning, because tomorrow I need to load up on bait to go back down to Alabama for the tournament on Saturday. So I'm filming this on Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, I was hoping to load up on bait and then drive down to Alabama tomorrow evening, spend the night, and then have a tournament there on Saturday. Which, thankfully, the tournament weather forecast is looking much better. They've had that, I'm sure it's got a name, but I ain't been watching the news. Tropical storm, hurricane, whatever it was. Well, it's hitting Alabama down there today. All them fellas that showed up early for the tournament to pre-fish, they all getting hammered down there right now. All them guys was camping too, so they better have brought them some extra tent stakes. So it's gonna knock them out of a day or two of pre-fishing, help my cause. But the weather, at least the current forecast anyway, is looking like it's gonna be a pretty good day on Saturday, other than maybe some rain. The wind, at least, is going to be mostly blown through by the time our tournament starts. So we'll just maybe have some rain, which I'm not thrilled about the rain. You know, I don't want to be out there trying to film in a monsoon, but it's better to film on a day where it's raining than a day where it's super windy and raining. At least if the wind is calm, I can bust out an umbrella, get my poor man's bimini top or something. But yeah, I wanted to come out today. I wanted to catfish here locally today. I didn't want to come here, but I thought this might give us an opportunity to catch some bait. So I'm just going to leave the camera rolling, y'all. I'm going to have you here in the chest. Raw and uncut, unedited today. This camera battery usually lasts around 4 hours or so, so we'll hopefully get some bait here quickly and then head upstream, and we'll set up in front of one of these creek mouths and I'm in my pedal kayak today, so we'll just anchor down, spend a few hours. I'm probably going to fish till noon today, although the camera battery's not going to last that long, but I'll bring you all with me for the first few hours here. Let me get you back in chest. I don't know why, something about, it's stupid. I don't know why I do this. Every time I start a video, I feel compelled to hold that camera out in front of me. None of y'all want to see my face, especially this early in the morning. But, yeah, I didn't really want to come here to catfish today, but I thought maybe we'll get some bait up here. So we'll try it. And I get a lot of people asking me to film bait sessions, film myself from the time I launched the kayak, etc. So we're doing that today, man. We starting this journey together today from the time I hop in the kayak. Now, I'm just going to take like a wide loop here and go around the shoreline this way. There's a point over here that comes off. It's a lot deeper water there when you get into the channel, but this area over here is kind of shallow. There's a lot of undulating features here on the river bottom. But oftentimes in the mornings, late summer into fall, we're mid-September here when I'm filming this now, you will see fish, schools of fish, skipjack, white bass. You'll see schools of largemouth too. They'll be up and kind of in this area chasing bait and whatnot. I just hope they're up today a little bit, at least up enough to get a bite. We don't need many. I mean, I only have 2 skipjack. That's all I have in the cooler. But they're both pretty good size skipjack. And being that I am in my pedal kayak today, when I'm catfishing out of this kayak, I only use 2 rods. So we don't have to have a lot of bait to fish with 2 rods. I don't need 100 skipjack. I'm pretty conservative with bait anyway. So for me, you give me 4 or 5 baits and I'm good for a day. So if we could pick off 1 or 2 coming up through here. There was something shad flipping over here to our left. Now for those of you saying, well, Justin, you're seeing fish on the graph a little deeper. Why don't you just switch over to a deeper running lure? Well, I don't have any with me. I've got this tied on my bait rods because I've been just tearing them up. I've been tearing them up on the spoon, so I'm a little bit unprepared, which is on me. I take responsibility for that. It wouldn't have hurt y'all to bring a couple rods with you today, and if I'm fishing near the surface, you all could have been fishing a little deeper. That's what a good fishing partner would do, would be to do something opposite of me. That way we're covering all our bases. But you all ain't never been a fishing partner worth a damn. You all know this. I can't get you into the net fish, bring bait, nothing with you. So I know y'all gonna try to blame me, but you gotta take some of the blame for this too, people. Accept some of the responsibility for yourselves. But we'll poke around out here. We'll see what we can get. And again, I don't know right now. I have no idea how things are going to go today. But the fact you're seeing this, you get to know that things went well, that something went right for us here today. So congratulations. You're like Nostradamus seeing into the future right now. I wish I had a crystal ball. If I knew the days I was going to do well, I would certainly go do well. If I knew the days I wasn't going to do worth a flip, I wouldn't leave the house. I'm actually getting out of here just a smidge later than what I had hoped to today. I had a little bit of a delay leaving the house. Y'all, Daphne the dog, YouTube's favorite canine, she has gotten the pink eye. And doctoring her eye, it goes about as well as what some of you all would probably think. So my last dog, Roscoe, he got some eye infections through the years and some ear infections. It happens. Man, Roscoe was so calm. And, he trusted me. We had a bond between us. I could do anything with that dog. If I needed to hold his head still and pull his bottom eyelid down and squirt an ointment down there, he wouldn't move. He would sit there calm as can be and let me do whatever needed to be done. Daphne is the complete opposite. She is going to fight me and try to wrestle. What an ordeal. So, thankfully, my girlfriend is coming over tonight. We can do a tag team effort. But boy, I got the medicine there yesterday for her. Doing it yesterday, doing it this morning. What an ordeal just to put some eye ointment on this dog. The best I can figure, she must have got pink eye while she was at the vet. I took her there last week when I went to Alabama to pre-fish, I had to have her boarded. And best I can figure, she must have got it there. And I guess I'm gonna have to have her boarded again, because I'd had her boarded because my dad had surgery a couple months ago. And Daphne's so high energy and such just a bull in the china shop, as they used to say. We've been worried if she gets a little hyper, a little just being herself around my dad, and he takes a tumble, it's going to cause a lot of problems at his age and whatnot. And so, safer to have her boarded than to take her to my parents to have them watch her. But my parents were going to try it this time. Daphne's been pretty calm the last time we went down there to visit, and they think it's going to be okay. I've tried talking them out of it, but they think it's going to be okay, and they were going to watch her this time. But now that she's got the pink eye, I don't want their dog getting it. And you know how dogs are. They're going to be wrestling and playing and sniffing on each other, and that pink eye is highly contagious. So I guess she's going to be going back to the vet. But the good thing is, if I take her to the vet for the weekend to be boarded, it'll be their problem trying to get that medicine in her eyeball. They're professionals down there. They deal with that kind of crap all the time. It's a two-person job, really, to do it right. Because she's strong enough and wiggly enough. If she was a bigger dog, it would probably be easier, I think, honestly. Because I'd be able to fully drape my body across her, I guess, if you will, if she was a bigger dog. Like kind of wrap her up, like Ninja Warrior style. But because she's I don't say she's a smaller dog, a medium dog, I guess. She's 54 pounds. She's just at that size that her length is less than my torso. And so I can't really wrap her up with my legs to try. So I'm basically trying to one-arm her while I use my other hand to try to get the eye ointment in. And I should film it, I guess. I ought to just put a camera up and leave it running on the couch or something while I'm trying to wrestle this dog. That would probably be entertaining for some people to watch. More entertaining than us not catching any bait out here, that's for damn sure. I don't even see nothing, man. I don't see nothing. We're just gonna keep moving this time, and you know, I thought we'd make a couple laps over through here, but because I'm not seeing anything, no surface activity, we'll just go on up, and there's a couple creeks up here. We'll run back in those. And maybe we'll hit something out here on the main channel too, possibly. Well, right here, by God, right here. Right here. Okay, here we go. They're right here in front of us. First surface activity we've seen right here. They're all over right here, okay. Okay. I don't know what they are. I think it's probably white bass. I didn't see any completely breach the surface, but at least we know they're here. They're right here, kind of on the edge of the channel here. They're up on this flat, but right off the edge, so we'll circle around through here a minute. Okay, folks, I'm feeling a lot. Look at them right here. Look at them right here busting. When our bait gets to them up here, I bet you it's going to go down. Bet me a nickel, somebody. Go get you a nickel out of your granny's change purse in there and a pocketbook. I shouldn't have run them damn things so far behind us. There we go. I told you as soon as we got to them, it was going to happen. This one too, we're doubled. Heck yes, buddy. We're getting us some bait today, folks. If I can land them, y'all need to grab it out of the rod over there. Hell, I told you we need about 2 baits, and we got one on. If you grab it before he comes off, let's see what these are. Yep, white bass. That's a good one too. That's a good size. Perfect. Let's see if this one's still on. There he is. Yes, folks, yes. I mean, I've seen, this time of year, I've seen fish around this area busting before. I was hoping they'd be here today. I'd seen some there recently on that other trip that I filmed downriver from here, and I thought, man, there might be something going on, and here we go. All right, Mr. White Bass. Sumo spoons for the win, folks. Pick you some of them up. Excellent white bass bait. Bass in general, smallmouth, largemouth, they'll tear them spoons up, buddy. Skipjack, certain times of the year, will tear them spoons up too. And lately, I have been getting the skipjack on the spoons while I've got these tied on. I get most of the skipjack throughout the year on a series of jigs. I usually use crappie magnets, plastics, and 1/8 ounce jig heads. But that's probably 75–80% of the skips I get is on the jigs. But every year, certain times, they won't hardly touch the jigs. They want something that's more erratic, I guess, as it swims through the water, and that's what them spoons are doing. They're just spinning and vibrating and making flash as we pull them along at 2.5–3 miles an hour. I'm gonna just circle back one time. We'll go make a little loop here and come back through this area again. If we can pick off 1 or 2 more on this next loop, we'll just take off and go catfishing. That'll be plenty. We'll make 1 loop. We're gonna take off and go catfishing after this regardless. But if we can very quickly get 1 or 2 more, then we might as well while we're here. That way we won't have to be conservative on bait today. We'll be able to switch things out more frequently. And what I'll do after we make this loop, I'm gonna keep trolling up to where we're gonna go and see if we can pick off some more in the main channel on the way. Yeah, folks, I ain't trying to sell you nothing, but these sumo spoons, they catch a lot of bass. So if you like catching bass, largemouth, smallmouth, white bass, whatever, they're a good thing to pick up. And I got a link for them down in the video description just to plug myself. But they're available at Catfish Sumo. You can get them on Amazon. They're cheap. A very cheap lure. They come in a 4-pack. I think they're like $12.95, $13.95, something like that. You get them around a sale time. I don't know what the next sale will be, Catfish Sumo. Probably Black Friday here, coming up here in a couple months. Probably the next big sale, but you know, you can get them cheaper than that. But they're a cheap lure anyway. You're looking $3 a piece or so, give or take. And it's just a piece of metal, so it's not like fish are gonna tear them up. The hooks are pretty good on them. They're a stout hook. You're not gonna bend them out on these white bass and skipjack. So other than just the hook going dull after a while, that's really it with them. So they last a really long time. It's amazing how many newfangled lures come out every year. Different body design of some crankbait, a different blade design of a spinnerbait, and it's like, man, some of the most simple lures, just a curved piece of metal with a hook, will catch a ton of fish. Lately though, man, the skips have been tearing up in spoons. Like, I've been doing really well, but man, when you need them. And it's kind of been like that for me all year with bait. I get on them and I think, okay, I've finally figured out the puzzle here. I'm gonna be able to get bait consistently for a few weeks until they move. I go back the next day, they're gone. It's been like that all stinking year. But I gotta find some. Initially, I had thought I'd go out tomorrow morning and get bait, and then of course drive to Alabama in the afternoon. But with bait being so difficult yesterday, I think I'm probably going to get back out this evening before dark. And if nothing else, maybe go hit a couple bank spots and see what's going on before I put all my eggs in one basket, as the saying goes, with tomorrow morning. Because if I don't get any tomorrow morning and I got to drive to Alabama tomorrow afternoon, it's like, what do you do? And Alabama, to their credit, and yeah, I'm thankful they done this. I talked about this recently, but I'm thankful that they have stopped the sale of skipjack. Bait dealers can't sell them down there no more. So the good news is it's going to help the fishery down there in Alabama. The bad news is you got a tournament down there and you ain't able to catch any at home or down there before the tournament, but you out of luck. Now I could certainly, man, I could net some shad today. I could go catch 1 million bluegill today. But if I got to use shad or bluegill in a tournament down there in September, I'd just assume not fish it. You know, I want some skipjack down there. Skipjack or suckers, red horse suckers. That's what I want down there this time of year. So I'm gonna find them somewhere. I'm gonna have to. So yeah, we're just gonna, I don't see them anymore. They've moved. I don't know where they went. They come up briefly. Oh. Well, okay, there's one. I said that, I guess they're still here, just not busting surface. We're gonna keep going. Actually, I think this is a largemouth. Oh, well, there he went. Yeah, that was a small largemouth right there. Yeah, I don't know where the white bass went. They here for a second and then gone. But you know what? We got us a couple. We'll add those with our, boy, look at this right here. We come off this drop here on this point. Look at all them fish right down there. Boy, I'm real tempted right now just because there's some fish right on the drop. I was gonna go up and hit one of these creek mouths here. "56 feet. We got all this bait right here up on this. Right, but boy, they ain't much behind it, man. Once you get, they're right there, the few fish right there on that drop, they ain't much. Let's just troll along a little bit and see what we see going up through here. I see something else busting right up here in front of us. Let's just mosey along. We'll go over here. Keep your eye on that graph there, y'all. I know y'all can't see because of my legs, but I'll watch it for you. That's just a basic graph. That's an old 5-inch Raymarine graph. You pick that thing up on eBay. They don't make them anymore. You pick that thing up on eBay. Here we go. This fish right here is over 53 feet of water. We're 53 feet deep right here, but we're fishing just subsurface. We're gonna have us another one. So I guarantee you they don't make that graph anymore, but I bet you could find one on eBay for 50 bucks, 100 bucks. Show you your depth, your speed. That one's got a map card in it, an avionics card, which is very helpful. That's another good sized white bass, buddy. At least the ones we've gotten have been good size. Can't use these in Alabama though, so it ain't like I can just keep them in the cooler and take them with me. Alabama's kind of particular on what you can use for bait. Tennessee, buddy, we can use anything as long as it's legal size. These right here, there ain't no Ain't no size limit on these. So there is a limit. I think it's 15 a day, I think. I don't know. I don't care. I never keep enough of them for it to matter, you know. It ain't like it's ever going to apply to me, because I usually, if I'm keeping white bass, I keep 4, 5, 6 of them, you know. Yeah, but you know, what I was trying to get at, and I've talked about this before, some of y'all sick of hearing about graphs and whatnot, but my other graph, my other kayak, it's all the bells and whistles. I got that huge graph, it's got the live scope, blah, blah, blah. I've caught a ton of fish, just a basic graph. If I can see the contours, which I can with that map card, and I can confirm that I am where I think I am on those contours with the depth, just the normal 2D graph there, that's all I need. That's all I need to fish how we're going to fish today, which is going to be anchored down and suspending baits. Now, lately, this method has not been the most productive. Dragging baits is. I'm going to be dragging all damn day on Saturday. I don't want to do it today too. I just don't want to do it. I like, even at the risk of not catching as many fish today as what we could if we were dragging, I just want to fish how I want to fish. So there was some more busting right over there to our left, but I may want to, I'm trying to work this brake line right here just to see if we see any more fish on the graph. And well, it looks like catfish marks anyway. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I know we're maybe wasting a little time. We could have lines in. We saw some fish there on that drop, but we didn't see many. And once we got beyond that right there, like there was nothing. So, not to say that more couldn't move through. Oh, hell, there's a boat up here. Well, I don't want to go up here with this boat. You know what? That's a sign from the heavens. There's your sign, as Jeff Foxworthy said. We are going to go back down here and fish this. Fish where we saw them others. I was going to work us up there to that next creek, but if doing that's going to put us right there in earshot of bass fishermen, then heck with it. We'll just, one of y'all looking for a house, here you go. I bet you that thing's about $3 million. It's probably in y'all's budget, pocket change for you. We may be listening to some construction noise. Let's work over here as we work our way back down. Let's run these spoons over here on this bluff wall. Maybe we might catch another largemouth or smallmouth or something on our way back down. Yeah, we'll just go down here. We'll anchor down here where we saw them other fish. On the corner of this bluff wall, right where it starts to come up to the shallows. I've caught fish here in the past. I've caught fish here. I've caught fish up all these daggone creek mouths. Like I've spent a lot of hours soaking baits here. This is very convenient for me to get to. So I haven't fished this area much lately. Downriver, I think it was, yeah, it was just the last trip. Should be the last catfish video. I was downriver from here. And so, but I ain't fished this area much lately, much this year. We'll try it today. The water's dropped a little bit. They've got it down. Maybe a foot or so there. You can see where the water line was on the rocks. We're just gonna, you see how close I'm running there to them rocks. We'll bring that spoon along. It's not very far through here, but we'll just bring it along here. We might bust a bass on the way. We get a largemouth legal size, watch how fast I drop him down. I'll do it. We'll break some bass fishermen's hearts out here today. Perfectly legal bait as long as they're appropriate size and caught on rod and reel. Now, I don't get a lot of them. I catch a lot of bass on the spoons. Rare to get one big enough to to be able to use, but catch a bunch of them. If I used a bigger spoon, I'd catch bigger bass, but I like the smaller ones, because skipjack typically prefer smaller baits. Yeah, we're gonna run right down here. We'll anchor down, soak some baits here a few hours. If them fish are here and willing to eat, then we'll catch them. There could be some more move in throughout the morning. Those fish there, I mean, they're staged up there for a reason, right? It's probably to move up into the shallows. It means there could be some more fish that are currently up in the shallows feeding on all that bait we've seen. And when they pull back off, we'll still be sitting here waiting on them when they come back out. All right, let's get you, let's speed up the process if y'all reel in one of these bait rods, but God forbid y'all do anything around here. Y'all leave it to me to do it all. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Can't get you to do a lift a finger. All right, let's get these out of the way. Bust our anchor out. Here is our camera mount. I guess we'll put that up and get that out of the way. My anchor today, very cheap option, dumbbell. I used to use 10 pound. I lost it, so we got a 15 pound. I'm gonna just let some rope out here. Let enough for us to be able to drop that thing down. We'll tie it off here. I'll show you how to do that. Very simple on this kayak. An anchor trolley is best. An anchor trolley is mandatory if you're going to anchor down in current, but we won't have any current out here today, at least not any noticeable flow. So the way I'm going to do this is fine for lake or reservoir conditions. You don't have any flow. So I'm looking at my graph right now, and I'm watching as we swing out. I'm going to watch that drop. I'm going to watch it start to drop off here. And I'll get the camera up there. I'll show you here in a second. I'm just slowly working off. And what I want to do is put us on the edge of that drop, right where it starts to level out down there. And get us moving, I'm going to show you. So you can see here, we're coming off. We're 56 feet here, and we're starting to kind of, you see how you've got the slant, and then it starts to level out right there? Right there in that corner is kind of where we want to be. That's called a break line, and you can imagine it runs all the way up through here. So that's where we want to be. So I'm going to back us up just a little bit there to get it on us, because with these 2D graphs, what you're seeing right here, this is the new, right, as it's coming this way, as it's moving along. Well, that's behind us, because this is not, it's not like a live scope where you're seeing real-time images. This is just, there's a delay for this to get here. So we're going to back it up, and then we're going to drop that anchor down. And you don't have to be, when you're catfishing, you need to be precise. You know, you need to be pretty close, but it don't have to be, you don't have to have it down to the centimeter as far as where you're at. But you definitely want to be on that break line. You want to be within a, you know, a pretty close area to it. That way you can kind of see fish that, you know, a day like today where you don't have a lot of, in fact, I don't know if we'll have, I didn't look to see if they were generating at the dam downstream. I don't know if we're going to have any water movement today at all. So you want to have your baits close enough to that break line that as fish swim along it, they're going to be able to pick up on your scent even without the flow. So again, I'm watching my map card, and I'm watching. I want to see that depth start to kind of So we're 55.7, then 0.4, 0.3, 0.2. We're starting to creep up here, now 55. So I'm just gonna work us forward just a smidge, and now we're going down. It's a little bit of a process to get yourself positioned to where you can anchor right, but it's important. Now, if you, God dang it, it helps when you daggone anchor roping. Look at this, I'm making a fool of myself right here on the damn video. I swear y'all set me up. One of you's got that rope all, let me back it up a little bit now. Okay. I swear y'all set me up for disaster every time we fish together. Every daggone time. There we go. Every daggone time y'all do this to me. I swear you just want me to look stupid on video. One of you's tying up that daggone rope down there for me. Okay, let me get this set up here. I'll show you what I'm doing. I've got just a little Yak Attack boat cleat on my rear gear track. Having a brain cramp what to call them here. But you know what I mean, it's a gear track. And this allows me to tie that rope off right here, kind of behind us. Again, I can't stress it enough. If you're fishing current, you need an anchor trolley. That way you can drop your anchor off and have it going off the back of the kayak or the front, depending on how you're positioned. You'll never flip a kayak end over end. It will always be side to side. So you want that as far back or as far forward as you can if you're fishing in current. Today will not matter because we're not. And when I'm in this kayak, I'm never fishing in fast flow. So I never care about, I never have to worry about needing an anchor trolley. I need to put one on just for the rare time that I might be fishing in this kayak in a lot of current, but I've never got around to it. We'll get our bait rods cut up or put up. We're gonna cut up some bait, drop it down, and hope some of them fish are still nearby. Everything's switched around here. Well, folks, I'm feeling a smidge more optimistic since we did get us 3 white bass to go with our 2 skipjack. We are going to start with the skipjack because definitely got more confidence in it, but we'll work the white bass in today too. Okay. Do a head and chunk on the 2 rods. Only fishing 2 rods, you don't use much bait, but you gotta have something. And boy, yesterday was a tough day. Sometimes it's like that. Yesterday was bluebird skies, it just looked like a kind of day you wasn't going to catch, you wasn't going to catch a lot of fish, and proved to be true. Boy, you got this daggone line wrapped around the rod tip. Okay, here we go. So my rig here, regular viewers seen it a million times. If you're new to my channel, I'll show you here in just a second when we get this piece of skipjack on. Do a head and a chunk combo. Let's have 2 different cuts of bait. Well, this is a Carolina rig though on this rod. 8-ounce egg sinker down to a swivel, 80-pound monofilament down to a 10-aught size circle hook, and then we've got a Catfish Sumo bait stalker fly a few inches below it. We're going to drop it straight down here 55 feet deep. So what I ultimately want to do is have this whole rig set in about 52 feet deep, give or take. And so that sinker's on bottom. I'm just going to reel down to it. Just rod tip slightly under the water there. Lift up, put it in the rod holder. So now I'm approximately 3 feet off bottom, give or take. Not an exact science, but you want it to be off the bottom when you're suspending. kind of put it in those fish's face as they work along the bottom. Okay. Get our head bait on, and then me and you will sit out here and tell some stories. I got a few to tell today. My channel members have already heard about the fence installer person. What a disaster that was. I made a terrible mistake. Much like trying to film today and embarrassing myself out here trying to anchor a kayak, because y'all knotted that rope up when I wasn't looking. I made a terrible mistake hiring somebody. You can't find a quality drug addict to do any work anymore. Drug addicts used to be cheap labor, and they'd show up and do just a good enough job to get them. Oh, look right here, we already getting hit, buddy. Has he got it over there? Look at this. Has he got it? The rod tip's still acting funny. He does. Fish number one, just like that. We just had that bait down just a couple minutes. That's pretty good too, considering we dropped that anchor down on their heads. Sometimes I feel like if you got fish stacked up there like we'd seen, and you drop a anchor down and the thud hits, I think it kind of spook them all. Oh, that one needs to fly too. And he left our bait on, good. Do not throw that bait off there, fish. I want to get him so we don't lose that bait. He ate the fly though. Small blue cat, but you know what? That's a very quick bite. He got it in the mouth too. It wasn't an accidental. Wasn't an accidental snag or anything, a foul hook. He ate that thing. These flies, folks, they get you a bunch of extra fish. We could have, hey, look how skinny he is. We could have done without catching that one. But the fact that he left the bait on, it's still in perfect condition, other than, well, the gut pocket got knocked out, but that usually happens anyway. If it don't fall out on its own, it usually gets knocked out with the first dink that hits, so not a big deal. Still a lot of blood and oil in that bait. Send it back down, set it up, and well, just like that, we got the skunk out. Told you when we got out here, we needed about 2 things to go right. We needed to catch some bait, and we needed to catch some catfish. And so far, it's looking pretty good. I'm still seeing a few marks there. The screen, I mean, it's not the clearest picture, but it don't have to be. Like that mark there, that's a fish, a small fish. That up here, that's like a small school of bait. You know, if you want the clearest picture, well, go spend several $100s, $1,000 on a fancy graph. If you just need the basics to get you on the water and get you positioned where you need to be, something like this, and I ain't trying to push Raymarine, hell, they don't even make these things anymore, but any comparable priced graph, 5-inch graph here like this one, your Lowrance, your Humminbird, your Garmin, an old Raymarine, if you find one on eBay or something, or Craigslist, whatever, they're all comparable in that price range. You're going to get comparable readings, comparable depth. This right here, this side, the map card, to me, that's way more important than this. You could take this off. You just give me that depth and the speed and that map card, I can position us all up and down the river here in places that will put us on some fish eventually, places that fish will move through. You can look at a map and figure out where fish are going to move through. Now, I don't know when. I have no idea when they're going to move through. But you can position yourself where you need to be just by knowing your depth and where you're at with that map card. Everything else then just becomes timing. And so people get real wrapped up on seeing fish. It's helpful. Like today, And, you know, we come out here, we saw those fish. I was going to go up here and hit one of these creek mouths. But since we saw fish here, and since bass fishing Dumafloch is up there, and I don't like talking on camera around people, it's like, well, okay, we'll just fish right here. And this rock area here, it makes a point. You can see where that point comes off. And then, of course, you got the shallows over here where we saw that bait down 12 feet and deeper. And, of course, we got the white bass up here on the surface. So it's a good spot for fish to kind of retreat to. And we're kind of in a depression here, a little hole along the channel there. It says 61 feet, but maybe it is a little bit deeper out here to the right. But the water is down a little bit. But it's a good place for fish to retreat to, for catfish to retreat to. They've got a deep water sanctuary with very quick access up to shallow water with a food source that's readily available for them. So you've got everything a catfish needs. Deep water sanctuary, shallow water bait source, and a path to easily get back and forth between the two. So fish, they could be hanging out here. We'll get fish that potentially work up and down this ledge there along the break line as they move just along this ledge up and down traveling. We'll have a chance at those. And then again, any fish that may be this morning here at first light, they could be up in the shallows potentially feeding. As they retreat back down, we're sitting right there waiting. So you will catch fish here. Will it happen while we're out here this morning? That's the great unknown. But it is just a matter when you set up on places like this, or in one of these creek mouths, or you know, on a deep point, on a hump, on you know, we just got bumped right here, little love tap. But the point is, if you are positioned appropriately, if you've got yourself in the path of where those fish are going to be swimming along, then it truly is just about timing. Now, if you just set up somewhere random out here in the middle of the river, you might could sit there 3 days and not get bit. I mean, it's just, you know, you've got to be in the path that fish are going to swim along. And so that takes a little bit of a map study. That takes a little bit of understanding how fish are going to move. But once you get that dialed in, then it's just timing. It's just waiting them out. Catching fresh bait, of course, that helps. Having the right bait, that's a big thing, but it's just a matter of timing. And I hope our timing today works out. I'd like to catch a few fish today. This technique, we've talked about this in recent videos. This is my favorite way to fish. I love fishing in this kayak because the takedowns they're just better. They're more fun. They're more intense. But this technique's not been paying off as good lately as what dragging has been. Dragging has been outproducing suspending about 10 to 1 on recent trips for me. And even the other day when I was fishing downriver from here, suspending, we caught some fish. I ended up getting one decent one and a few fish over the course of the morning. But the action just wasn't like what's been going on my dragging trips. But the thing is, it's when you go fishing, what is it that you're after? That's the question you have to determine for yourself, the question and answer. Only you can decide. Are you wanting maximum number of fish? Is it just about how many fish can you catch? Well, if it is, then you need to do what's the most productive technique at that particular time. And so right now, that would be dragging. And if you want the most fish possible, then you probably need to put out some planer boards too, just so you can run more lines. Personally, I hate planer boards. I hate it. It's not any fun. And when it comes to fun, catching fish dragging, it's enjoyable, but it's not as enjoyable as this. And, you know, again, I know I'm going to be dragging in the tournament because tournament situation, you got to do what you got to do to catch fish in that time period. So with dragging, outproducing, suspending so much, you bet your hind end I'm gonna be dragging during the tournament. But today, when it don't really matter how many fish we catch, I just want to have the most fun with the fish that we do get. And so for me, a day like today, I'm just a normal trip. I'm not competing with anyone. I'm not no pecker measuring contest with anybody out here today. There's no money on the line. Like, just do what I want to do. I think more people would maybe take that approach if it wasn't for social media. Every single day on social media is a pecker measuring contest. Every day. Because every day you go fishing, you open up the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, whatever, you're looking at everybody else's catches that day. And it turns into I got to outdo this person or that person. Who gives a damn? Listen, they ain't paying no more attention to you than you are to them. And all they are to you is just something you're scrolling through. That's it. I mean, that's all it is. So pay less attention to that crap and more attention to doing what you want to do. And this is what I want to do today, by gosh. So whether it pays off for us or not, this is what we're doing. I like this, I enjoy this. It's so much more, the battles are just more intense. Right now, 55 feet deep, we've got roughly 52 feet of line out. So when a fish hits, we're essentially playing tug of war with 52 feet of line, a 40-pound test line. When you're using another technique, maybe you're anchored down and you're casting baits out in front of you. Well, you obviously got a lot more line out in that situation. When you are dragging baits, you've got a lot more line out behind you. So the battles, they're still enjoyable on the takedown, but catfish, the fight of a catfish, even a big one, it's usually over pretty quick. Okay, a blue cat, flatheads fight harder for longer. Their body design, they're more muscular, their tail design. Like, you're going to get a much more sustained fight out of a flathead than you are a blue. But the blue cat, I mean, their fights are good. They're very fun to catch, but you're just not going to get a long fight out of them. Their bodies just aren't, it's just not designed that way. I mean, you go down to the ocean and you catch let's say you catch let's say we caught a 40, 50-pound blue cat today. Right? So that fight's going to take, what, 3 minutes? Maybe 5, we really play it out. You go down to the ocean and you hook into a shark that's 40, 50 pounds, a smaller shark. It's, them sharks, man, they will fight themselves to death. Literally, like, they will just keep going and going and going and going. It's a difference in body style, body type. Blue cats, they're just not cut out for a marathon. They're just not. They're more sprint than marathon. So the shorter line distance you can have out when you hook one, the more fun that short period of time that you're going to fight them is. I mean, really, if it's just about catching the most fish and just about catching the biggest fish for you, and I ain't telling you how to fish, okay? You got to do you. Whatever's most enjoyable for you, whatever it is your goal when you go fishing, who the hell am I to tell you how you should do things, okay? It's none of my damn business. But truly, if it's just about the most fish and the biggest fish for you, when you go fishing, I would, as we get into the little love tap, I wouldn't recommend using rod and reel at all. You're handicapping yourself. If all you want is the most fish possible and the biggest fish, if you just care about getting that hero shot, holding up a big fish, rod and reel is not the way to do it. I'd get you a commercial license and put out the damn nets like all the people that rob the public waters to go stock the pay lakes. How do you think they're getting all them big fish they put in them pay lakes? They're for damn sure ain't catching them on rod and reel. They're putting out them nets. Why? Well, because you're going to catch more fish, you're going to catch bigger fish doing that. That's just the way it is. So, you know, nets, jugs, trot lines, all those things that I hate personally as a recreational fisherman. I hate those things. I wish they would ban them. It's terrible for recreational fishermen like me. There's a reason why people do them things, because it's more productive. You catch more fish, you're going to catch bigger fish doing that. It's just, that's how it is. So my point is though, if your goal is to catch the most fish and the biggest fish, rod and reel's the wrong way to go about it. And for damn sure don't want to do it with only 2 rods and a kayak. You know, I mean, like, you're really handicapping yourself when you try to fish like I do. But for me, I'm okay with that, because I want to catch big fish. I hope we catch big fish today. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. But if it doesn't happen, guess what? I'm still going to have fun. I'm going to have a good time with the fish we catch. And if we catch, and out here where I'm at today, I'm not expecting numbers of fish. I would hope about 1 bite an hour average today. You know, so if I fish till noon, hopefully get 5 fish. That's a good day out here numbers wise. There'll be some days occasionally out here that you get more, but usually when I'm fishing on this reservoir, I've typically gotten better quality fish, less fish, but a little better quality. You go down to Watts Bar, you get more numbers, but you don't get a biggest fish with as frequently a ratio, I guess. So, you know, I don't come out here ever expecting to have a 20 fish, 30 fish day. I don't. But I want to be able to enjoy the few fish I do get, make them the most fun possible. So that's why I do what I do most of the time. I've settled into this technique. It's just the most fun for me. May not be for you, but it is for me. And so that's why I typically do this style of fishing most of the time, even on a day like today where I know I'd be better off dragging, be better off doing it. But I mean, for me, and this is maybe one thing that's different. If I was, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do this, well, there's a splash right here beside us. I'm fortunate to do this YouTube crap, which allows me the opportunity to fish a lot of days through the year. And because of that, I know if I log 150 days on the water, and my average trips, say 4 hours, 5 hours long, which most of my trips are pretty short. I'm gonna have some skunk trips. I'm gonna have some 30 fish days. I'm gonna have some kind of average 1 fish per hour type days. But when you average all of it out over the course of the year, I'm gonna catch a bunch of fish. I'm gonna get some big fish. You know, I know it's gonna work itself out in the end. I may have 2 or 3 weeks that, boy, the fishing's just tough. Like, I'm just in the wrong place, wrong time. What's this working right here? Is that a small dink blue? Messing with our head bait down there? You better leave it alone. Leave them skipjack heads alone there, fish. We ain't got time for that nonsense today. We got 2 skipjack heads. Need them in good shape when Big Mama comes along. But over the course of the year, everything's going to work itself out. Even if I go through a slump for 2 or 3 weeks, I know at some point during the year, I'm going to have 5 or 6 trips in a row that are just lights out. It always works itself out. Now, if I fish less, which I know many of you have to fish less because you've got other responsibilities in life, work, family, etc. Maybe you only get to fish 1 or 2 days a month. In those situations, I mean, I understand if you want to try to do the most productive technique, even though it may not be as much fun because you want to get bit. You want to catch some fish. You're not going to have as much leeway, I guess, to over the course of the year for things to just kind of balance themselves out if you're only fishing maybe 12 days a year, 25 days a year, compared to some punk like me that's probably going to do 120 to 150 days, or however many it works out to. I don't even know. I certainly fish more this time of year, spring to fall when it's warm. Wintertime, I don't fish as much. I don't know how many days it works out to. But I know for me, it always averages out. So I don't get too discouraged if I have a bad day, or, I mean, it's frustrating, of course, if you go out and you get skunked. Nobody wants to get skunked. I certainly don't want to have a slump for an extended period of time. But if it happens, it happens. It's not the end of the world because I know better days are coming. They always are. And they are for you too, even if you do only fish 15, 20, 25 days a year. It'll average out for you too. It just may take multiple years to see it average out. But it always does. I'm hoping today. I want to catch a big one today. I always want to catch a big one, but I want to today especially. I don't think we're going to see much of a sunrise this morning, where the sun comes up in this direction over here. And it's a little cloudy today, a little hazy here to start, and we got these trees blocking, so I don't think we're going to see the sunrise at all. By the time it gets up over them trees, we'll have missed the best part of it. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Damn shame I can't get Folgers to sponsor this video, because that would have been an easy plug right there. How awesome would that have been? I don't even know if they make Folgers coffee anymore, to be honest with you. I remember when I was little, that commercial would come on all the time. I'd be sitting there watching wrestling at my great-grandma's house, and that Folgers commercial would come on. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. They may have gone out of business by now. I don't ever watch commercials anymore, so I don't know if they're on or not. That and the Wampler sausage jingle on the commercials are the two that would always get stuck in my head. Y'all, I mean, I don't know. Wampler's is a small sausage factory. I think they're owned by like a larger meat packing company. Like they've got several brands under that kind of parent company, and one of them happens to be Wampler's. But Wampler's is big here in East Tennessee because the factory's 15, 20 minutes away from here. I actually worked, fun fact about me, some of y'all won't care about, I actually worked at Wampler's Sausage Factory for 3 miserable days when I was 17 years old. 3 days. It's the only job in my life that I ever walked out and quit on. It was awful. It was awful. I don't, to this day, I don't like eating sausage. This was, I mean, I was 17 at the time. I'm 42 now. Do the math on how many years that's been. I still don't like eating sausage today. And my job in there was just to, you had all these Mexicans that would pack the patties into the boxes, right? They would come off the patty line, it was a conveyor belt, and they would take these patties, put them in the box. The box would get to me at the end. I would close that box up and stack it on a pallet. When the pallet got full, I would take that pallet out, replace it, you know, get ready for the next box coming. Manual labor job, but that part was manageable. The part I hated, though, so disgusting. At the end of the day, you would take a shovel, like a shovel you would use in your garden, like a, not like a shovel you would dig with, but like a shovel you would scrape with a flat edge. And you would go through and you'd clean that floor. All them women had been stepping on them patties and the pieces of meat that had fallen off the conveyor belt during the day. You'd scoop all that back up, and it would come back through the patty maker tomorrow. Yeah. So you're really scraping meat off the floor that's been stepped on and stuff, and come back through that damn patty maker. It was disgusting. But the worst part of it, this is what I couldn't stand about the job. You're walking around there on them floors all day, right? And you're walking on that meat. And you go out to your car, and I walked, it was like, I can't remember, July or August or something for the 3 days I was there. It was that hottest part of summer. And you'd have that meat, it'd be in your shoes, your boots. And you get in your car, and you drive home, and of course, what's on the bottom of your feet when you get in the car, some of it's going to get there on your floor mat, some of it's going to get on your gas pedal, brake pedal, and stuff. And you come out the next day after your car has baked in the sun the whole time, and you open up, and it's like that rancid, rotting meat sausage smell. It was just the most disgusting smell. And I'm like, what am I doing here with my life? Like, is this really my life? Like, yeah, again, I was 17 years old. I'm like, there has to be something better for me than this. And that last day, I'm scraping that damn meat off the floor again, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of this. End of that day, I just left, and I never went back. And I haven't regretted it not one bit since. Sausage factory work ain't for me, folks. Apparently catching fish on a YouTube video, that's not for me either, because we're not doing much of that right now. But packing sausage, scraping it up off the floor, putting it back through the patty, it ain't for me. It ain't for me, folks. It's just, I hope their practices have gotten better since, again, that was a long time ago, but that's how it used to be. And ruined sausage for me. Ruined it. I think situations like that, it's best just not to know. It's just best to just not have a clue. That way if you don't know it, you can't think about it. So you just eat that sausage patty with your breakfast in the mornings, and you have no idea it was walked on all day long by, well, there's fish above here busting right here on them rocks. I don't know if that's bass or white bass or what. Now, and you're probably asking, why don't you cast over? Just these things don't cast well unless you put a weight. They're just a very lightweight lure. You got to put a weight on there. I don't have any weights with me, so I knew I was just going to be trolling today. So that ain't the fish we after right now anyway, folks. We after cats now. Business has picked up here. Or business has gotten started. Yeah. Wampler Sausage Factory, man. They used to play their jingles. Y'all, look up the jingle. I'm sure it's got to be, It's got to be on YouTube or the internet or somewhere. This would have been the 80s when they were playing it, but this is how powerful that jingle was at the time. I still remember it today from when I was a kid. I remember, oh hell, here comes a boat over here right behind us. I ain't gonna sing you this jingle with bass fishermen, man, coming over. I'm gonna sing you this jingle. But I hope this guy gets the hell on. There's 5 million places to fish out here. I know we're right up here on this point. He don't need to be over here trying to fish behind us. I don't care if they are busting fish. There's 5 million other points out here on this reservoir, and he's got a boat. He can access any of them. He's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. He's looking to see what I'm doing because he wants to get over here right on my ass. Oh, I wish them fish right there would stop a minute. Because I guarantee you he's seeing them. He's going to just keep creeping over here. He's going to fish right down behind us. And I want to sing y'all this Wampler sausage jingle. Y'all want me to sing it too. I know you do. Hell, they may hire me on the next commercial, even though I've blasted their business practices. That could be my next line of work when this YouTube crap don't work out. I'll be the Wampler sausage jingle singer. This guy, he ain't even fishing. He's just sitting here watching electronics, watching me. No, he's waved at me. I hope he goes on. They got every right to be out here, same as I do. That's what people in the comment box will tell me. And they do. It's public water. There's no rules that you can't get right on top of somebody. But have a little courtesy. Especially if you're in a boat, you know what I mean? Like, the bite that's going on this point right here for them bass, it's going on every point up and down through here probably. Okay, good. Maybe he's idling along there now. Go over to the other side. I could tell though, he wanted to come over here. I could tell. I'm glad he didn't though. Well, they're busting right here though. It may be them white bass again. You can see them right there hitting. Yeah, I think that's white bass. Damn shame I can't use them in Alabama, because I'm sure if we were working over there right now, we could probably get a cooler full of them. But can't use them in Alabama, folks. That's the rules. Go to a different state, you gotta abide by the rules. Anyhow, now that this guy's gone, y'all need to look this up. I'm sure it has to be on Google, YouTube, somewhere. But in the 80s, when I was a kid, at my great-grandma's house, this commercial would come on regularly. And here we are. I mean, I would have been a kid. I mean, my great-grandma, I was staying there. I was 4 or 5 years old. So you're talking 37, 38 years ago. That's how long this jingle has stood the test of time in my mind. Folks, I can't half remember yesterday most of the time. I remember this jingle. Let me get me a drink of water. I don't want to ruin this for you because it's amazing. I won't eat Wampler sausage, but props to them for their jingle. All right, my Wampler's jingle debut. Here we go. I feel like I'm auditioning for them here for their next commercial. Wamplers, Wamplers, it's good sausage made on a farm in Tennessee. Don't say sausage, just say Wamplers for the best in quality. How was I? freaking amazing, I know. Dolly Parton's probably going to invite me to sing with her up at Dollywood. Y'all will be singing that jingle the rest of the day now. It'll be stuck in your head. It's iconic. I mean, just, I don't know who they got to come up with that, but they deserve a raise. The fact that I can remember that, and will just periodically at random get it stuck in my head for a few hours, 38 years after the time I first heard it. Like, that's something, folks. Like, that's when you know you got a winner, when something stands the test of time like that. If only their sausage was edible. Wamplers, Wamplers, it's good sausage made on a farm in Tennessee. Don't say sausage, just say Wamplers for the best in quality. I mean, and the commercial was really good too, because it's like on this old farm, homestead type place. Like it looks like it's something straight out of the Heartland series, for those of you that might have grown up in East Tennessee and remember Bill Landry. God, Bill Landry was amazing. I wonder if he's still alive. The Heartland series used to come on, for those of you who didn't grow up in East Tennessee. The Heartland series was basically like a short documentary type show that would come on after the news. The Channel 10 news here at noon, 6, and 11, they would play the Heartland series. And it wasn't a very long show. It would be like 5 minutes or so. But you would get a story. Bill Landry would tell you a story. He would go somewhere and he would interview someone in East Tennessee that had a particular skill. Maybe it was a woman sewing quilts. Maybe it was some old man who whittled something with a pocket knife. But you would get some kind of down-home kind of story from a unique individual. And Bill Landry was a master storyteller. Like, he was so good at it, and it was very enjoyable to watch. And then, like, once a week or once a month, I don't remember how often, they would have a 30-minute show called Heartland Tonight. And it would be kind of a compilation of those stories that would come on after the news. It was amazing. It ran for most of my life, like from a kid up through teenage years. I mean, it was on TV a long time, and then they eventually canceled it. And I'm like, why? I remember at the time feeling just pissed off that they canceled the show. I'm like, how big a budget does that show require? You got Bill Landry, who was worth every penny of whatever it was they were paying him. You probably had one cameraman and somebody back at the studio to edit. Like, it's probably a 3-man operation. The people they were interviewing, they weren't getting paid. I don't think they were getting paid anything anyway. They're just sharing their story. So, and I imagine it would probably be an honor to be on the Heartland series, to be so interesting that Bill Landry would want to do a program on you. So I remember being pissed off when they made the announcement that they had canceled the Heartland series. Like, how do you cancel it? How expensive could it possibly be to run that show? And especially now, with me doing YouTube now, and kind of having some more knowledge, I guess you would say, of how the world works as far as advertising goes and marketing and whatnot. You figure they're running 2 commercials on the Heartland series. Because, again, it was a short episode there. I don't remember the exact length, but it was very short after the news, and then the next 30-minute program, Tonight Show, whatever would come on. So after the news ends to when the Heartland series starts, you're going to run a couple commercials. You have a commercial break. And then after the Heartland series ends until the next 30-minute program comes on, you're going to have another commercial break, right? So now that I'm in this world, and I know how much, and obviously today advertisements cost more than they did in those days. At least I would assume. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't, because now a company's advertising dollars goes a lot of different ways. It ain't just TV anymore. Back in those days, it was TV and radio. Now you got internet, you got YouTube, you got TikTok, social media. So I don't know, everything's went up in price since the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, of course, inflation, but I don't know as far as the ratios I get, you know what I mean? Like the percentage of money, what something would have cost then to where it is now. I don't know. Maybe it is cheaper now to get something on TV because there's less demand for TV commercial time. I don't know. But my point is, back then, the fact they were able to run 2 commercial breaks around the Heartland series, and you had at most 3 people on that team. Bill Landry, cameraman, and somebody editing. At most 3 people. And they all live in East Tennessee, so wages much lighter here than other states. Tennessee is one of the lowest paying states in the union for just about everything. So it couldn't have cost that damn much to keep the Heartland series going. Between them 2 commercial breaks, they were making enough to support the Heartland series. They just got greedy. They just got greedy with it, was all. They realized we could run the same commercial breaks without that little 5-minute segment of the Heartland series and cut 3 employees. That was the decision that was made. I guarantee some suit in a corporate office somewhere saw an opportunity to save a few bucks and justify his existence there in that office. And they cut the Heartland series. And it was one of the dumbest things that Channel 10 ever done. I used to like Channel 10 news. Now I don't watch the news at all anymore. But if I did, I'm not going to turn on Channel 10. Because screw them over what they done to Bill Landry in the Heartland series. So after you're done today, obviously I need you to ride it out through my video here to see if we can actually catch another fish. At this point, I'm ready for anything, even I don't want to say a channel cat. I don't want to conjure one up. But we need something to bite here. But when you're done with today's video, make a mental note. And if you're like me, you might need to write it down because mental notes seem to be written with disappearing ink in my mind. But when you're done with this, you need to look up and see if you can find the Wampler Sausage Factory commercial from back in the 80s. And you need to look up some episodes of the Heartland series, if you can find them somewhere online. You'll be entertained. Neither the Wamplers commercial or the Heartland series will let you down. I promise you. Right now, I'm letting you down with our fish catches. These fish are letting us both down. Bill Landry and Wamplers commercial will not. Classic, folks. Classic stuff. I hope Bill Landry is still alive and well. I do remember something. I think he had wrote a book, maybe. Maybe. Seems like there used to be a Heartland series VHS tape set, which I don't even know how you'd watch it nowadays because ain't nobody got a VCR anymore. But it seems like there used to be a box set of the Heartland series. And I don't know if that's unique to Tennessee. I mean, the stories were people from East Tennessee, but I don't know how widespread the Heartland series was. Like how many channels was it played on? I don't know. Were there other Heartland series type shows in other parts of the country? I don't know. But Bill Landry, just a master storyteller. He could make anything. I mean, the stuff that they had these people on there, I mean, on a personal level, I would have, especially as a kid, I would have no interest. You know, my interest as a kid was G.I. Joes, baseball, you know, I mean, normal kid stuff, not what some old person in the mountains was doing. But Bill Landry was such a good storyteller. He could make anything interesting. And I mean, as a kid, I would always watch. I mean, if the news was on, I would always watch the Heartland series. So, shout out to Bill Landry. Hope he's doing well. Be pretty cool to, you know, he's somebody. If I ever got to, I don't know if he's still alive or not. But if he is, if I ever had the opportunity to meet him, that would be pretty cool. Because it would be cool to just pick his brain and ask him questions about, like, just storytelling. Because I mean, hell, I'm out here on these unedited videos. I gotta talk. I can't get you all to talk back. You won't converse with me at all. I got to carry this conversation my damn self. So it would be interesting to talk to somebody like him and maybe get some advice on how to storytell, you know, how to structure things, how to, like, it's an art. Like, there's a skill to what he did. I couldn't go out there and do what he did. You couldn't get somebody random off the street to go replace Bill Landry on the Heartland series. It wouldn't work. Like, it was his demeanor, his personality, the questions he would ask these people, how he would explain things. Like, it was all, like, whatever it is, he had it. And it would be pretty cool to talk to somebody like that and be able to just pick their brain and get some insight. Like, is there something, I mean, any little nugget of information that somebody, a professional, like, because I mean, he's truly a professional. Any nugget of information you could get from somebody like that would be so valuable. To somebody like me anyway, who has to carry a conversation with y'all for 4 stinking hours, 5 hours, however the hell long we fish, however long a battery will last on a given day. Like, you know, I've got anything I could do to improve myself would be welcomed. I know most people would say the best way to improve these videos is to not film them. I already know. Before you type out your comment, I already know what you're going to say, so don't even bother. I'm all over it. I can read you all like a book. Predictable. Let me show you something, folks. Where are we at on this? How long's it been since we're an hour and a half in. When did we start catfishing? We started, what, about 30 minutes in? We anchored down. We got that one blue. Oh, here they go again. Here they go, white bass. They're fairly close over here. I can't cast this thing far, but let's just try it. I can't cast that far. Oh my gosh, we got one though. I casted it far enough. Oh, there he went. Lost him. We'll just cast that. There he is again. Yeah, we can cast far enough. Get on a few here. We'll throw another one in the. No, that ain't white bass. See, that's largemouth. That's a large jaw right there. Oh, something come up after him. Did you see that? Or they're trying to get the spoon one. He's too small to keep. I think they got to be. I think they're 14 inches or 15 inches out here to keep them. See if we can get another one. I'm actually going to stand up and see if I can cast a little further. Wean after these fish, but while we wait on some cats, maybe we'll make a cast or two, best we can. Normally, if I'm going out and I'm going to be casting spoons, right there. Oh, that's a little better one. He come up making a jump. They're chasing shad right there. Normally I would have a little worm weight on there though. That right there is a little bigger now. Look at this. I don't have a measuring board with me. So they're gonna, for us to keep a largemouth, it's gonna have to be obviously over 15 inches. Because I can't remember if it's 14 or 15. That one there, I don't think he's gonna get there. He's probably 12 to 13 inches. Sumo spoon catches some bass, folks. I thought they were white bass, but no, that was a school of largemouth. All these bass fishermen over here, they're using their $10 lures and ain't catching diddly poo. We're over here with this a cheap spoon. They're over there again. Cheap spoon, and we're sitting here. Can't even cast this damn thing and catching them. I don't know if you can see that spoon pulling through the water. It's very, very erratic how it moves as you pull along. Oh, we got thumped, man. We got thumped right here. Is that a flathead bite? Is that a flathead, folks? We got thumped. I felt kabump. Now we got something right here on our line. I want him to take that rod down. I think that's a flathead. I think we got us a flathead right here. I see some marks there on the graph, but I'm pretty sure this is a flathead. I don't want to pick up right now until he loads up, but it was a big thump. I felt it. You can feel it in a kayak, man. You can feel it when they just inhale that bait. There's a little bit of weight on the rod. Please be a flathead. And I'm so fearful if I pick up, he's still gonna just let it go. Because there's just a little bit of weight on there, but not much. So that circle hook, he needs to, I do better when I let them load up the rod. That way they put the pressure on themselves and that hook turns. He's swimming under us. The line's coming back this way. I'm gonna have to, because he's gonna get in our anchor rope. I'm gonna have to pick up. I hope he stays buttoned up. I don't want him getting in the anchor rope. He was going back that way. That's why I had to do it. I think he's in the anchor rope, actually. This is a good fish. This is a good fish. There he goes. He's in my other line for sure. He is in the anchor rope. Damn. I like when a flathead, when you feel that kabonk and they inhale that bait, I like to give it a little time. I do better with the circle hooks by letting them load up the rod. Anytime I try to reel down on them or pick up too soon, I lose them more frequently. The hookup ratio is so much better if I just show a little patience. This is a good fish. I've been wanting to bust a big flathead. That's another reason why I've been wanting to suspend more lately, because I catch more flatheads while suspending. Bass are still going crazy over there on the shore. We'll get back to catching them when we get this thing up here. I don't care about no bass right now, though, and we got a flathead on. This is a good one, man. Yeah, it's taken a little while today, man. It ain't been a lights out bite on the catfish. One little dink blue to this point for those of you that have fast forwarded and maybe missed it. One dink blue, a couple largemouth, got some white bass out here to start. Good news is I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope. I think this thing has come out of my anchor rope I actually think he come out of my other line over there too. Boy, we may get really lucky right here if he come out of the anchor and my other line. How awesome would that be? On the skipjack head, my favorite bait. Some nice bubbles coming up. Good flathead right there. Oh man, that's a good one. I knew it. I knew the way he hit the bait. I knew, I could feel it in the kayak. I heard it, like kaboom. Yes. Boy, I've missed having a big flathead, man. Look at this thing right here. Look at him. Look at the big ugly man. Yeah, he looks like he's hooked pretty good. He's hooked pretty good. We can. Boy, man, we needed to get lucky today. We needed to get lucky to catch bait before I was even going to fish. We needed to get lucky once this fish hit to get him out of my anchor rope and my other line, and I'll be damned if all of it hasn't happened. This makes my day, folks. Nothing is better than catching a big flathead on a suspended bait, especially in a kayak like this where it's just so much more tense when you just feel that. I mean, you can feel it. I was standing there and you could feel it up through my feet. I wish you could experience that through the TV or phone, whatever you're watching this on. It's amazing when a flathead inhales a bait in a kayak, when you're suspending, when you got that short line out. God, I love this. Man, that's a nice fish too. All right, let's see what we can do here. Get him landed. First off, let me get my bass rod out the way, bait rod out the way. Man, y'all, yes, my day is made. I wouldn't care if we caught another fish. I'm going home happy today, but I sure hope we catch some more fish. Come here, buddy. Come here. Oh, yeah. Nice, 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 nice flathead. Got our head back too. We'll switch it out, but we'll keep the head. Oh, y'all, look. Man, y'all. Let me fix that camera here where I can see something before we hold him up. Make sure we get a decent picture with this thing. I'm gonna fist pump before we hold this fish up. This makes my day, man. Yes. Hold him up here. Oh, man. Look at the size of that thing. That's a good one. I love it. You catch so many more flatheads suspending than what you ever will dragging. You get them occasionally dragging, but suspending, I don't know what it is, but you get them more. Oh man. I've been wanting a big flathead for so long now. I've been in a little bit of a slump with them. But again, it always averages. Oh, I got another rod going down. Another rod right here. It's going down. That's a good takedown. That's a good takedown. He's taking line. I can't get the camera turned around. He was taking line. This fish is going to interrupt the flathead's release. Let's get you going, Flatty. Take a look at you there before we pick up on this other rod. There he goes. He don't even give a crap, man. Nonchalantly. We got another fish on, though, that was pulling line before I could get the dang camera around. What we'll do, here's what we'll do. We got some fish. We've got some fish working through right here under us. We're going to get this one up the surface, get a look at him. I think this is a blue. We'll get him up here. Then, before we land him, we will lower our other bait back down. I just want to get a look at this one, get him under control. Then we'll lower that other head. I'm going to switch the head out for the other skipjack that I have in the cooler. But right now, I just want to mainly get it back down there, just to have it down in the water, in case we got more fish coming through. I see stuff on the graph right now. Let me take and show you this right quick. You can kind of see. You see all them right there, the marks right off the bottom? Those are probably cats. This is another good fish. This is another good fish right here, man. Again, I come out here today, like I told you, I'm not expecting a 30 fish day here on Fort Loudon. But the fish we do get, if we can average 1 per hour over the course of the trip and end up getting 4 or 5 fish, I would hope that, you know, 1 or 2 of them is going to be better quality. Goodness. I think this is probably a blue, but boy, if it turned out to be another flathead, how awesome would that be? Wouldn't hurt my feelings none. Business picked up, man. I was just talking about, gosh mighty, it's been a long time since we had got that little blue. And we start piddling around with the bass, and these catfish got jealous what it was. They saw me giving them bass attention. They said, we can't have that. We can't have Justin going bass fishing again. Let's get him up here. I want to know what this thing is. I want to know if is it a blue? Is it a flat? Big bubbles coming. Big bubbles. That's a nice blue. Nice blue cat right there, folks. Nice blue. Okay. Okay, let's set him back. I want to get this head bait back down. We have no baits down there right now. We've potentially got other fish willing to bite. Let's drop this down. We'll land this thing. See, when that fish right there, when he's taking that rod over like that, like, look at my kayak. I don't know if you can see, but like, it tips over. That's so much fun. It's fun right now, but like the first hit, when it first happens, and they take a rod over hard in a kayak like this, it's a smaller profile, man, is it a good time. Hey, there's an extra fist pump there for the daggone flathead, since I didn't get to fist pump him on the way out because of this fish. Yes, y'all. This is why I love suspend fishing. When it all comes together like this, I love it. I love it. Now, like I told you there first thing, when you're setting up on a place like this, and this place, the spot we're on here today, nothing special about it, okay? You can find 50 places just like this out here on this reservoir. It's time. It's time on the water. I can't tell you, you know, if I knew that these fish were going to bite whatever time it is right now, well, hell, I'd have slept in a little later. We'd come out here, we'd just drop baits down when they're ready to bite. I don't know when they're going to bite. But I know if you put enough time into places like this, you get bit. You do. So, fortunately today, we were in the right place at the right time for a big flathead and a big blue. And we're gonna land this one right now. I hope he's done. I hope he's done. He ain't wanting to be done. Come on. Come on up in here, blue kitty. Oh, man. Yes. This fish here is actually, he's actually skinny for his size. He could easily put on probably another 10 pounds and fill out a little bit. He's got a hole on top of his head too. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that there or not. That's a solid fish, buddy. Solid fish, and you know, they kind of work through in packs. This one and the flathead was right there. You know, close time period together. And we had 2 baits right there in their path, and that's what got us bit. Just having baits right there in their face as they swam through. All right, I don't waste any more time. Let's let this one go. See you, blue kitty. Thanks for a good time. That fish may have been skinny, but y'all didn't get to see it because you was up there. But when he first took that rod over, man, he was stripping some line on there. He was pulling. I want to get another bait down there. I'm gonna cut that other skipjack I have, that second one. This head that we got over here, it's still an okay shape. We're gonna keep it just in case, but I want to go ahead and put the fresh one on since we still got what looks like some fish here on the graph. I'll show you real fast. Try to get closer up here. Okay, you see them marks right there? Like those squiggles, those are fish. Now, I don't know if they're cats or not, but highly likely, I would assume, based on what we just caught. Let's get our other skipjack here, though. Them fish, they must have heard me singing the Wampler Sausage Factory jingle, and they wanted to come get front row seats to the concert. Because, I mean, I got some singing talent. Y'all heard it. I may not win on American Idol, but that show's rigged. So, you can't put no stock in American Idol. You just gotta go on your gut instinct. And I know your gut instinct right now is telling you that I've got an amazing singing voice. And if Wamplers, if they ever make another commercial, I know I've badmouthed them today because they were a nasty place to work back when I was a younger man. But I think if they have me on their jingle singing, I think 2 or 3 extra cases of sausage is going to get sold. Look over here. Them bass still over here going crazy on the tip of that point there too. So let's get this baits back down. Hell, we might go over there or make a couple casts from here again and see if we can. Boy, how awesome would it be if we got a bass that was clearly over 15 inches and I put him down there alive. And I will do it too. Don't think I won't. I don't have a measuring board with us today. So it's going to have to be a bass that's obviously over. And I don't remember. Loudon and Watts Bar, one of them is 14 inches and one of them's 15 inches. And I can't remember, or at least it used to be, I can't remember what they are. When I fish bass tournaments, kayak bass tournaments, length don't really matter for us because we're not keeping any fish, so we just score them on our measuring boards, whether it's 10 inches, 12 inches, whatever. Because we're not keeping them in a live well, the minimum size requirements don't really apply to us for tournament purposes. So I can't, it ain't something it doesn't matter to me most of the time, so I don't think about it. But I know one was 14, one was 15. So whatever, if we get a bass that's clearly over 15 inches, we're gonna have to see about putting him on a hook live. Let me get this measuring board, or this cutting board cleaned here. We'll throw our used head back in the, it needs to be changed, honestly. But because this is our only other skipjack head today, and you see I squeeze it there, you see that blood coming, like it's still, we could drop this back down and catch more fish with it. But the other one over there is going to be better, and so we'll keep this for now. We've obviously still got our white bass in there too that we caught. So we got plenty of bait here for this morning with fishing 2 rods. While I was fighting them fish, y'all somehow managed to get the daggone spoon wrapped around the rod here. I swear you guys sabotage me every time I turn around. Whether it's the anchor rope, tangling up my spoon here. You know, we are anchored close enough to the shore that we can actually cast this. I can't cast about 20 feet, but that's close enough to get over there to where they've been coming up feeding that. They're busting shad. When they come up, they're chasing shad over there against them rocks. That's what it is. They get them shad pinned over there. I don't see them busting right now. I don't see nothing. Coming up. I'll make a couple more casts and then we'll have this rod handy in case they come up again. I'm excited, y'all, though. Man, what an awesome flathead that was. That made my day. That's one of the biggest reasons why I've really been wanting to do more suspend fishing lately, even though it's not been paying off with many fish caught compared to dragging, is, and I've talked about this a lot on these unedited videos, but flatheads, for whatever reason, you just don't get them dragging. I got one about a month ago dragging, but it's more of a luck thing. Suspending, you catch them fairly regularly, you know, and if you're anchored and you're casting baits out on bottom, you get flatheads fairly regularly. But dragging, and here's a theory I've had on this, and I've shared this before, but I'm going to share it again now because it's kind of relevant to the conversation. Here's one of the reasons why, or in my opinion, just opinion, I can't prove this, take it with a grain of salt. But here's why I don't think you catch flatheads dragging. You saw there, well, I was standing up at the time, so you didn't get to see the thump of that flathead, how he inhaled that bait. And when you get that thump, that kaboom there on your rod tip, what's causing that is that flathead just literally inhaling that bait. They come up on it, they flare them gills, and it just, the water coming in just sucks that bait in. And that's where you feel the thump, okay? But flatheads, after they inhale that bait, they oftentimes will just sit there with it, sometimes for 2, 3, 4 minutes or longer. Whereas blues, when they come up and eat a bait, they hit it and they run, man. They're like full speed ahead. Flatheads will do that some, but oftentimes you get them just sitting there with it. I don't even know what they're doing with the bait down there. They're just sitting there with it. And so you might see a little bit of weight on your rod tip. Maybe sometimes your rod tip that had the weight on it from the sinker, it'll just kind of stand back up a little bit. Like they'll just be motionless down there with that bait in their mouth. Well, a day like today where we're suspending baits and we've got 50-something feet of line out and we're fishing vertical under us, when that flathead hit the bait, I knew it instantly. I felt it. I felt it and I heard it. So I knew right away what had happened. But if you're dragging and you've got God knows how much line out behind you and your kayak or your boat, whatever you're in, it's moving, and your dragging sinker, it's catching the bottom all the time, coming across rocks and debris and whatnot. So you're always seeing a little movement on your rod tip when you're dragging as the sinker meets resistance down there. Just you dragging along has the same look on your rod tip as what a flathead who has your bait in its mouth would look like. And so if a flathead inhales that bait that's 50, 100 yards behind you, when you're dragging, you're not going to feel the thump the same way you feel it when you're suspended. You're not going to know it's ate that bait. And so if it's just kind of matching your speed, just coming along with that bait, just holding that bait in its mouth, you're not going to have a clue that damn flathead is on while you're dragging. And, you know, he holds on to it for a little while, realizes something's not right, something's up, this is a bad situation, and he just lets that bait go. And you're still dragging along. You have no clue that fish was even on your line. I think that's probably what happens. I don't think that flatheads are just, for some reason, won't hit a dragging bait. That makes no sense, because they are more of a predator fish than blues. You know, flatheads, I mean, they're up in the shallows. They're ambush predators, you know, whatnot. Like they're going to be more likely to eat. And right here, well, here we got hit again. Is he on? There we go. We got into the blue right here. No, this is on the chunk. Oh, he just let it go. I felt him let it go. Let me go ahead and reel up, see if we got bait on. I hope we do. Yeah, I don't think that was very big. Smaller blue. But those flatheads, they hit moving baits, artificial baits all the time. I mean, every year I got several bass fishing friends that live around here. You know, pro moderator, pro neighbor, mullet man, you know, all these guys that I've known for years. Every year, they send me a picture. Hey, Justin, just caught one of your fish. And they've caught a flathead on a crankbait, or a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, or something. Accidental catch for them, but nevertheless, that flathead was attacking a moving bait, right? And so, if you can tell me that they're going to hit a bass lure, but they're not going to hit a dragging bait that we're using catfishing, it don't make no damn sense. So I think they are hitting them, and we just don't know about it. And because a flathead, the way they inhale that bait and the fact we're using circle hooks, they can sit there and hold that damn thing in their mouth for a long period of time and that hook not be in position in their mouth to get them to stick. And they just spit that thing out and they're gone and we continue moving and we have no idea. We had no idea that we even had a flathead on. I think that happens probably more than we realize. I can't prove it, but that's my theory that I've had. And so, you know, I don't know how you fix that. This year, I started playing around with my dragging rigs having a fly on the end because I thought those flies have a J-hook. And with them kind of trailing behind the cut bait, they kind of seem like a bait fish that's out of place. You know, flatheads, people tell me, and they've told me for years, Justin, you got to use live baits for flatheads. No, you don't out here. Okay, the Tennessee River, you're going to catch a bunch of flatheads on cut bait. All of my biggest flatheads have come on mostly skipjack heads, honestly. But usually when I use live baits, I catch blues. I hear them bass again. They're over here behind me now. They're too far away to cast. They're down there. Hopefully they work their way back up over here. We'll cast to them again. But you know, them flatheads, they'll eat cut bait. And so the fact the cut bait's moving, I don't think is going to make a difference when you're dragging. But I thought I'll add them flies onto the dragging rigs and maybe pick off a few extra flatties. And I have not caught a single flathead on them flies while dragging since I started using them. Caught a bunch of blues on them. And I've caught flatheads on the fly. I've caught several flatheads. I've got some big flatheads on this channel using the flies while suspending, but no flatheads on the fly while dragging yet. So, yeah, folks, that's my thought on it. That's my theory. Can't prove it. It would take a situation, you would have to have one of those like inline cameras on your rig and be dragging to be able to confirm my thoughts on that. But if you've got the weight of a camera on your dragging rig, one, you're probably going to lose that camera. You're going to get caught. You're going to get it caught in a snag down there and lose that damn camera. It's going to be an expensive day for you when it happens. The other thing too, the weight of the camera is going to throw off the weight of the camera is going to be heavier than your drag and sinker because you're going to have it above. You know, it's not going to work out. The weight of the camera is going to be on the bottom, and so you're going to get that damn thing snagged. It's going to be impossible to do that. So I don't know how you prove what I'm trying to say, if it's provable at all. Some of you will probably dispute what I'm saying, may think it's hogwash. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I can't prove it either way. But in my mind, that's what I have rationalized through the years as to why you cannot hardly catch a flathead dragging. Catch them every other way, but not dragging. But regardless, I like suspending baits. Again, this is my favorite way to fish and very productive on flatheads. And finally, even though I've been in a slump, for a few months, which I usually do in the summer. I do. The flatheads, they spawn usually after the blues. So, you know, we're mid-September here now, so it's time to start seeing more flatheads again. But it's just, normally I'll still pick off some flatheads in July and August time period. And this year, I think I got one, maybe two, maybe. That was it for July and August, one or two flatheads. So I really stunk it up this year on the flats so far. But like I talked about before, it averages out in the end. You know, I've went through a couple month stretch of just a slump on flatheads, and we get to the end of the year, even if it's a down year, I will have still caught several. I would have caught some big ones, and it all works out in the end. It always does. So it's just time on the water, man. It's time on the water. The more time you can put in, the more fish you're going to catch. It's logging hours and making sure you're in the right spot when them fish turn on, when they come through your area. These fish today, I mean, and I talked about this on a recent, maybe it was the last trip, I can't remember. Maybe it's the one before, but I talked about the experiment I had done where I was setting on spots for the duration of the trip versus moving all the time. Well, you take out here this spot this morning, right? If we had fished this spot like I would have done 10 years ago, where I would have anchored down, cast baits out, give it 30 minutes. If we didn't get a bite, I'd have pulled anchor, been gone, on to the next spot. Well, guess what? We wouldn't have just caught that big blue and big flathead, because we would have anchored down first thing this morning we got out here. We'd have caught that one dink blue that we got, and I'd be like, okay, time to move. You know, there's no fish here. They're not active. If they are, let's go. Let's get out of here. Maybe we catch fish at another spot, but we wouldn't have got the two that we just got. And, you know, and there's been a lot of trips like that where I'm on a spot for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, however the hell long, and you get that feeding window where you just have rods going down for 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes on a good day, and that's where the bulk of your action is going to come from. I can't tell you how many, now these unedited videos, you know, you're out here with me start to finish most days. Today I'll fish a little bit longer after the battery dies just because we spent some time bait fishing this morning. It kind of cut into our battery life. But, you know, most days that you fish with me on these unedited videos, you're seeing the trip start to finish when I start catfishing, right? So you kind of see when we get on a bite like that and when we don't. But I can't tell you how many edited videos I've done through the years that were 20, 30 minutes long in length. Once you take the 4 to 5, 6 hours, however long I'm on the water, you take all the footage and you edit it down to a normal length video, 20, 30 minutes long. Those videos look like you caught fish all daggone day because you're reeling in one fish and you drop your bait back down. Next clip here, you're reeling in another. It looks like you caught fish nonstop. But I can't tell you how many times I've filmed those days where most of my fish were caught in a short window of time. You know, and when you do a highlight video, which is what those are, they're highlight videos, you're shrinking a trip down. You take today's trip right here. You know, let's say today I fish till noon, like I'm going to do. And I shrunk that down to an edited video. Well, how long is that video going to be based on the fish we've caught so far? I would have done an intro for a minute or so, tell you what I'm going to do. I'd have showed you me catching some white bass there, maybe some of these largemouth over here. You would have had the fight and the hero shot of the blue and the flathead. And then whenever I end today, I would do a little 30-second, 1 minute recap of the trip to close out the video, right? That would be the structure of the video. You edit all that down. At this point today, what do we have? Probably 15-minute video. So we catch maybe a couple more fish today. Now you get 20 minutes. Well, that's a nice day, but you edit that down and it looks like you just, man, you went from catching bait to catching a flathead to catching blues. And, you know, it looks like you had a more action-packed day than what you actually had. With catfishing, and I don't care who you're watching on there, there's a bunch of quality fishermen on YouTube and TikTok. They're making quality videos. They're good fishermen. They're good at what they do. I don't care who you're watching, how good they are. There's a lot of downtime in catfishing. There's a lot of this right here. You're setting, you're waiting. Even if you're moving, even if you're dragging baits and you're actively moving, there's downtime. You're going to have stretches of this ledge where there's not any fish there at that particular time. So that gets edited out on a normal video, and I think it oftentimes gives people a false impression of what catfishing is. And then when they go out and they try it, if you're new to the sport, you don't have that action-packed day and you get discouraged. And I don't want people to get discouraged. I want you to kind of have an understanding of how things go. And it's really, man, catfishing, when you break it down to its core, it's putting baits where fish are at. That's true of any species of fish, but especially with catfishing, where we can literally, it ain't like bass fishing where you got to cast out and actively work a lure back to you. With catfishing, we're literally just putting baits in the path of these fish. And a spot like this where we've got everything we need, deep water sanctuary, a shallow water feeding area, and an easy path to get back and forth. Like, it's just timing. It's timing at places like this. And it's true of places all up and down the river. Wherever you're at, lakes, reservoirs, river, whatever type of body of water you're fishing, it's all the same. It's just putting your baits where the fish are going to be. And if you do that when they're feeding, when they're turned on and actively ready to eat, you catch them. The rest of the time you don't. Unless you can kind of trigger a bite, which sometimes I think you can. I think if you pull a bait by a fish, dragging, or you're bumping, a lot of guys do that in swifter current, and they happen to put that bait right on a fish's nose, right in their face, I think you can trigger a bite. But it's really just time on the water, man. It's time. The more time you can spend, especially spending it around productive time. I talked about this in one of these videos too, but I'll kind of Cliff's notes it here. For those that maybe have watched that before, or maybe you're new to my channel and kind of get the gist, is like, you know me, I fish typically shorter trips, 4 or 5 hours, mostly in length. I'm getting older. I can't sit in the sitting position in a kayak for 12 hours a day anymore. I just can't do it. I love fishing out of the kayak, but the body don't allow me to do it like I used to when I was a younger man. But I catch more fish now than what I did back when I was a younger person. One, because I'm smarter. I know how to read that map card better than what I used to. But two, the other reason is even though I fish less hours on a trip, I make sure I'm fishing at productive times, which most of the time you're going to see me fishing sunrise, sunset. Productive feeding period times. Not every day, but often enough. Those low light periods, you get productive time periods. So, you know, if my average trip, say 4 or 5 hours, and you hit those productive time periods, well, multiply that out over the course of the year, you end up with a lot more hours on the water during a productive time period than what you do if you're fishing, say, 8, 10-hour day. If you fish, let's say you get on the water at sunrise and you fish 8 hours or 10 hours. Well, the first 3, 4 hours out there is productive. But once you get beyond that, when it's high noon on a bright sunny day, you know, how many of you are getting bit consistently at noon on a sunny day when the water's, you know, fairly clear as far as the visibility goes? Like, how many are you? Sometimes, sure, but not consistently. So, you know, for me, I would rather fish more days with less hours on the water each individual day. But over the course of the year, I'm going to have more hours with baits in the water during a productive time period than somebody who's fishing an equal number of hours over less days, just doing longer hours on the water on their days that they go out. And, you know, I know this is apples and oranges for a lot of you, because you just, like we talked about there earlier, you don't have the days to fish. Work commitments, family commitments, children. You know, if you get 2 or 3 days a month that you can fish, and you've got that whole day, and you want to go out and fish for 10 or 12 hours, well, you just got to make the most of it. You know, go out there and grind through the less productive time periods of the day. But if you have an opportunity to, you know, hit the dawn, hit the dusk, those time periods, like, it's going to pay off for you. It's not every day, but consistently you're going to hit those time periods. You're going to have better success over those time periods than, say, if you tried to fish like noon to 4. You know, if you fish from dawn till 10, 11 o'clock versus fishing from 12 to 4, 12 to 5, I promise you, if you're on the same spot doing the same thing, you know, that would be a good test run. Like, if I could clone myself and one me come out here from, say, you know, dawn till 10, 11, and the other clone of me come out here and fish from 10 or 11 till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would bet you the farm, I'm so confident in it, I would bet you the farm that the me who's fishing at dawn would dominate. Not every day, not every single day, it wouldn't happen. But over the course of the year, the me who was fishing dawn time period would dominate the me fishing from like 10 or 11 to 2 or 3. Because it's just a more productive time period. That's all there is to it. So, you know, time on the water is important, but quality time on the water is more important. So, and that's just the way it is. But the more time you can put on the water, whether it's 12 hours on a day or just hitting 4 hours for multiple days, it's going to put the odds in your favor. Not every day, but it works out. I saw a little something happening over here. Let's just stand back up and make another cast for the bass. I still got to show you. I think I was about to show you something cool I found. I brought it in the kayak today. I want you all to see it and identify this thing for me. We get done making a few casts here. Don't let me forget to show you that. Very important. I don't know what the hell it is. I may have something valuable. I may be able to retire. I don't know why I'd need to retire. I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing now. Be out fishing. Let's be out here playing Candy Crush instead of talking. Well, I don't play Candy Crush anymore. I'm like level 5,000 something on Candy Crush, but I quit playing. Well, one, doing these unedited videos, I don't feel like you all want to watch me play Candy Crush, so I sit out here and talk to you now instead of twiddling thumbs and crushing candies. But one of y'all, I can't remember who, put me on that game called Wordscape. And so now, when I try to rot my brain playing stupid video games, that's what I play. So I traded Candy Crush addiction for the Wordscape addiction. Speaking of word games I play, the one game I play every day for sure, as soon as I wake up, I play Wordle. I've been playing it for years now. I'm currently on a 201-day streak. My longest streak I've ever had. So Self-high five, as Diamond Dallas Page used to say. I saw a couple bass come up. It wasn't the big school, but they gone now, I guess. We probably caught more bass today than all these bass fishermen out here going around. I guarantee you, we get back to the ramp over here, there's several bass boats. It's a fairly busy ramp. I guarantee you, some of them bass boaters they're getting skunked out here this morning. And us out here, just a small spoon. Probably caught more than they did. Let me get me a swig of water. I'm gonna show you this thing I got. Let me find it here. I put it in the hatch. This, folks, I don't know what this is. So I was cleaning this area around the tree. Hold on. We got a fish here. We got a fish here that don't want me showing you this potential meteorite. Is he still got it? Is he just... Nope. He let it go. So anyway, I'm cleaning, I'm around this tree, and there's some rocks there in my yard, and I'm picking up these rocks and like tossing them over the fence, get them away from that tree. And I go to pick this one up, and I'm like, holy cow, that's a heavy rock. Like, this rock, the other rocks around it were comparable size, but this one is probably 2 to 3 times as heavy as the other rocks. And I'm like, man, you know, you pick it up and you like instantly notice, like, wow, that's heavy. And it's a weird color. And I got to thinking, like, is that some kind of meteorite potentially? So then I read online, like, they're supposed to be magnetic. And, you know, it's not sticking to that magnet. As these bass are like over here. Let me stand back up. Dadgummit. Bear with me a second. These bass are taunting me over here, and I know we can reach them. We can reach them right there with this cast. Let's just... But yeah, the meteorites, you look them up, and like 99% of them, I think, I read. I don't know if that's true or not, but 99% of them are magnetic. And this one ain't sticking to my magnet. So I guess it ain't a meteorite, but whatever it is, maybe some of y'all know what type of rock it is. Some of y'all out there maybe what's a geologist expert? What are they, geologist? A rock expert, a geologist expert? A geode? A geode's a type of rock, ain't it? I'm not a rock expert. I know what gravel is, okay? I've got gravel in my driveway. I've seen crystals before when you go to the Lost Sea as a kid on a field trip. But some of y'all out there may be a geologist expert. I'm pretty sure that's what the study of rocks is. I don't know what kind, I mean, there's nothing else in my, again, I found this around a tree. I was pulling some, cleaning, you know, raking some leaves and stuff and cleaning around this tree, and I found it. And there's nothing else like it around. Like none of the other rocks in my yard look like that. And it's, you know, I didn't weigh it, but just feeling it in my hand compared to any other comparable sized rock in my yard, like it is at least twice as heavy for sure. And you look up pictures of meteorites online, and there's all different kinds. But, I mean, I saw some online when you're scrolling through pictures that kind of looks like what I have. So, I don't know. I don't know what I have here. It could be my meal ticket, by gosh. I may not need some rich old woman to make me a kept man after all. I may not have to be a trophy husband for some old hag. I may be able to just sell me this rock, if I could pass it off as an actual meteor to somebody, maybe I retire off this thing. But yeah, let's see if I've got it in frame here on the camera. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's heavy. I mean, like, that thing, I know you can't feel it through the camera, but it's heavy. So I cleaned it up a little bit. I took it into the house and on the sink. I hope it's not radioactive. I don't know if meteorites are radioactive or not, but I cleaned the dirt off of it and stuff. But it looks different than any other rock around. It's way heavier than any other rock around in my yard. It was just out of place. Like, I didn't think nothing of it when I picked it up. I mean, I'm just taking these rocks and like throwing them this way over the fence, you know? And I picked this one up and I'm like, holy cow. So, I don't know. There it is. Some of y'all out there are smarter on this stuff than I am. Again, I know what crystals are and I know what rock is. I mean, gravel. That's the rocks I know. That's it. Diamonds. I've seen diamonds. If a woman with me gets a diamond, it's probably going to be cubic zirconia, though. It'll look like a diamond, may not actually be a rock. I'm cheap like that. There's another bass boat. Hopefully he keeps going. I'm glad that other guy didn't loiter over here. He saw them bass busting, though. I could tell, I could see it in his eyes when he went by. Like, he wanted to catch them bass that we were catching. He's probably over there somewhere else. This bite, though, you know, if bass are up here on this point busting, it's not going to be exclusive to this, right? Like, it's going to be, all these rocky points up through here, you're going to have some bass busting. You hit 10 rocky points, you're probably going to have 7 or 8 of them that's got the same bite going on. And it's like that with catfish oftentimes too. If you're on a bite where you're getting them in like creek mouths and say 35 feet of water, well, you open up your map, you pull up your contour map, Navionics, whatever you got, maybe you got an old paper map. You pick you out 10 creek mouths up and down the river that's at that depth that you're getting on that one spot, 7, 8 of them going to have the same bite going on at roughly the same time of day. It's not going to be exclusive to that one spot. So, you know, this spot here, it ain't nothing special. But we did have a couple fish come through at the right time, man. It seems to, they're still, I mean, and you look at the graph there, I mean, I still see a squiggler coming up there. So there's some fish there. It's just right place, right time. Probably get some more fish now. Now that I've talked about this potential meteorite I have here in the kayak, they'll probably come up here and try to rob me. That's why I put it in that hatch. I don't want them pickpocketing me when they up here. When I'll be holding them fish up, talking to you there on the camera. That fish will have his tail in my pocket, stealing that meteor out. It probably ain't a meteorite because I mean most of them are supposed to be magnetic, and my magnet, like, I don't feel any pulling on it. So that's a little disappointing, but it's still a unique rock either way. I have some other unique rocks on my, well, I've got one on a stand there in my living room, and I've got a couple others coming up my back porch steps. So I'm a sucker for a good rock. A rock and red-headed women, man. I'm a sucker every time. What else was I going to tell y'all? Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. My channel members have already heard this. They've seen it. They've heard it. So my channel memberships, I do like extra behind-the-scenes videos for you. So it's more like home life stuff around my house, projects, stuff like that. And so my channel members have already seen this. And they've heard what an idiot I am, but you all won't get to see it since we're out here, obviously, but I'll tell you about what I've done, how stupid this was. Hopefully I'll make some of you feel better about whatever stupid nonsense you may have done today. Spilling something on yourself, tripping going down the steps. Maybe you backed your car into a trash can, leaving the house this morning. Hell, whatever. Whatever dumb blunder you've made today or this week. Maybe you'll feel a little better about yourself when you hear what little stupid idiot I was. So, recently I had some land cleared at my house. And the way my fence has been set up for years now was it kind of squared off my property. But my fence was not all the way around the perimeter of my property. There was some brush and some overgrown areas there that I owned, but I wasn't entirely sure where the boundary markers were. Well, I recently met a neighbor that I share that corner boundary with that I couldn't find the marker of. And I've lived next to him for 18 years, but him and I had never spoken before recently. Now I've spoken to this guy like 5 times. He's been to my house numerous times. Anyway, I asked him the first time he come up to my house wanting to see my carport. He's building one. I asked him if he knew where the boundary marker was, and he did, and he showed me. And I'm like, well, okay, great. This is very helpful because now I know where it was at. And the reason I couldn't find it is because I wasn't looking on what I thought was his property. I was looking on the brush. Like he had cleared off part of the brush on my property and kept it mowed down. And so that boundary marker, it was in the ground there, but it was 10 or 15 feet past where the brush ended. And so I was looking in the wrong spot. So anyway, now that I know where that's at, I'm like, well, great. I get this brush cleared off, and now I can find the other marker over there that's buried. So I hired this woman, and she come out, which I talked about that. It seems it's very sexist of me to think that, a man was going to do it, but she did a phenomenal job. I mean, just excellent job. Clearing off all that brush, kudzu, blackberries, all that. Got it down to ground level, then come back with another machine, smooth it up. Like it's ready to sow grass. If we ever get some rain, I'm gonna sow grass in this area. It's time right now, mid-September here. I need to do it soon, but we ain't had no rain in the forecast. Although I do think it's supposed to rain this afternoon. A little bit, not much. But anyway, she clears everything off. And so I ordered a cheap metal detector, and I got out there and I found that other boundary marker I'd been looking for. So now I got all my boundary markers, right? And I'm like, well, you know what? I got all this cleared off. I know where my boundary markers are at. I'm going to have my fence moved. Take out this section of fence here that's kind of got the property squared off and just extend it down here to the corner and come back up here to my gate. Set a perimeter, because my other neighbor in front of me is moving. She sold her house. She's moved out. I'm going to have somebody else coming in when they get that place cleaned up and fixed up. So, you don't know what you're getting with a new neighbor. It's best to just go ahead, have the boundaries marked, I felt like. So this fence job, I had a company come out and give me a quote who had built me a privacy fence between me and the neighbor I hate. And they quoted it was $5,500 damn dollars. I'm like, you've lost your damn mind. I mean, we're not building a wooden fence here. Like I'm not gonna pay $22, $23 a foot, whatever it worked out to, for a woven wire fence. Like all I need is for you to remove this section of fence that currently exists, dig 3 holes down in the corner, put in the wood post, make a brace, and then run woven wire around, with some metal T-post in between. Like, that's all you need. Like, I'm not paying $22, $23 a foot for that. So I make a post online on a local Facebook group in my town, asking if anybody knew anybody. And several people responded on there. And when people respond, like, I'm gonna click on their profile. I'm gonna see what's up. You know, do you do this kind of work? Are you a meth head? Like, what am I getting? Well, one of the people that responded on there was Mexican. And this is stereotyping. I shouldn't be like this. Some of you are going to blast me in the comment box for this. But when I saw the Mexican on there, they instantly became my number one choice for this job. Because let's be real, Mexicans have a reputation for doing manual labor jobs, hard work, and doing it well. Like, I mean, you see it all the time. Well, in my area anyway, we've got a very large Hispanic population in East Tennessee. As more fish are splashing right here in front of us. To be continued on the story here. This story, I'm gonna make you feel good about yourselves when you hear what I've done. We are anchored down just close enough here we can cast over there. Even though I can't cast this very far without a weight on it. I don't want to use a weight usually when I'm trolling because I'm trying to represent a bait fish that is up near the surface that's separated from the school of shad. So if you put a weight on it, it's going to run several feet deeper, and I don't want to do that when I'm trolling. Most of the time anyway. But if you don't have a weight on it, you can't really cast the damn thing. Oh, something bumped me. Oh, there he is. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, there he is. I got hit 3 times and finally hooked him. Or hooked one of them. All right, large jaw. Way too short. This, unfortunately, can't be used. This right here would actually be a perfect size live bait, honestly. If I can get the hook out of his mouth. A bass like this, about, I don't know, 8 to 10 inch range. That would be catfish candy right there. Just can't legally do it. I got hit 3 times before he finally, either him or one of his friends, whatever, got it. I don't know. May not have been the same fish hitting it. Those bass, they're in a school, large school. They've been working that area over there by that point. I guess they're just chasing the shad around. Hit a little bit of boat wake here, had some houseboats go by. Thankfully, this section of the river here is pretty wide, so if they go through the middle of the river, by the time the waves get over here, it's tolerable. We've got a Tennessee home game this weekend, so it's probably some of the Vol Navy people going up a little early. I can't stand those people, but they plague us out here on the Tennessee River, man. They take their giant houseboats up there and watch the ball game. Outside the stadium, there's another one. Oh, nice jump. This is a little bigger than the last one. Still not keeper size, but a little bigger. Oh, goodness gracious. Put that dang hook in my thumb. Thankfully not past the barb. This bass apparently dislikes me as much as I dislike bass fishermen. You lucky you're too short, fish. I'd feel good about putting you on a hook, making a bait out of you. Here I am giving these bass. I ain't out here to catch bass today. I don't have to give them no camera time, but I'm choosing to because I'm a humanitarian like that. That fish was ungrateful is what he was. Tried to injure my thumb. The Deuce, my friend Mark, he got a spoon hook down to the damn bone in his finger by a skipjack a while back. So they get in there deep enough, they can put a hurting on you, even if it is a small hook. Oh, there they are over here to the left. I don't know if I can cast over that far. Let's try it. Yeah, I can't get over there where they're at. Oh, okay, they're over here right now. Let me try to get them. Let me try to get them while they're still there. Watch this. We're gonna get one right here. Oh, I casted to where they were, not where they currently are. Let's try that again. Big school of them. Oh, there he is. Oh, missed him. Boy, if we don't end up catching one right here. A million of them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, how are we pulling through there not getting anything? Amateur bass fisherman here, folks, amateur. I'm trying to turn. I need the kayak to kind of spin just a little bit to get over here and get y'all a better angle. Y'all got a good look there at that sign with the number on it, so you spot stealers out there, if you want to come set on this spot, you could easily do it. But I can't get you over here where the bass was busting. Can't spin my body like that. I don't know how the hell we had that many bass coming up and I couldn't get got hit that once. Couldn't get a hook up in there. I just knew for sure we was getting bit then. These fish are just taunting me just enough so I don't tell you my story here about my fence disaster. We got a lot to cover between the Mexicans and the drug addicts. I got a lot to tell you all today about this. My channel members getting a rerun. I done told them. They got told in the heat of the moment. A couple hours after I had already dealt with this situation. I'm a lot more calm today. Wherever them bass are at, they've went a little deeper or moved along one. We ain't seeing nothing right now and ain't getting bit right now. All right. Well, I'm gonna put this rod up a minute till they come back. I'm gonna set back down. All this boat wake's coming through here. Thankfully, them houseboats that went by was just kind of idling upriver. They wasn't barreling through like some of them do. So anyway, y'all, I made that Facebook post. Got people responding to me. I'm vetting these people. Just looking at their profiles. I do that, man. If I'm selling something on Marketplace, somebody reaches out, before I even respond to whatever they've said in the message, I'm clicking on their profile. Am I dealing with a real person? Am I dealing with a scammer? Am I dealing with somebody that looks like a normal human being or some weirdo? You know, if you look like some weirdo, I ain't responding. Even if you want whatever item it is and you're paying cash, full amount, I ain't responding. Too many weirdos out there. Anyhow, I got several people responding to me in this ad. One of them is Mexican. Now I look up his profile and I mean, he's like full on Spanish speaking, like authentic. And I know it's bad of me to say this, but if I got a manual labor job like this, I was looking to hire out. If I get 10 people respond to me, one of them is Mexican, they're going to the top of the list, just on stereotype reputation alone. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. We got a lot of Hispanics in this area, and you see them out landscaping jobs, construction jobs. They'll be out there hauling shingles up on roofs in the middle of summer, man. Like they work hard. Okay, that's the reputation. Not all of them, but that's the stereotype. So when I saw this Mexican who had responded to me, I'm like, that's my guy. So I reach out, and the phone conversation was very difficult because my Spanish is, I'm like, no habla español. That's about as good as I get. And his English was about as good as my Spanish. So very difficult language barrier to cross. But through our best we could cipher each other, and thankfully through text message where I could send an address, I was able to arrange a time for him to come out and take a look at the job, what I needed done. And, this job, first off, I know some of you are going to comment and be like, just why don't you just do it your damn self? And listen, I could, okay? But I don't have the tools. Like, to put your wooden post there on your brace on your corner, you can spend a lot of time out there with post hole diggers. I don't want to do that. I'm too lazy to do that crap. I don't have a one-man auger, so I either got to go, I'm going to have to go rent one, right, to dig the holes. And then I don't have a fence stretcher. I don't have a come-along to hook it to the vehicle to be able to pull the fence stretcher, to pull the woven wire tight. Like, I don't have the tools. So, fence companies obviously ridiculously priced, but I'm like, this is a pretty easy job for somebody that has the tools and has a work ethic to go get it done. Like, just, they could knock it out in half a day. I mean, it was 238 feet of woven wire and one corner down there. So 3 wood posts, a few bags of concrete. You can reuse the metal T-post that I had, the part of the fence that's being taken down. So, cost of supply, and 1 roll of woven wire. So cost of supplies is less than $500. And, half a day to a day's labor fee is what I'm looking to pay for this job, okay? Not $22, $23 a foot that a fence company wants to charge you. Right or wrong of me, that's what I was wanting to pay, okay? Some of you may dispute that and may think I'm an idiot, and I guess I am. So, anyway, this Mexican comes out, he shows up, he walks around. We are trying our best to communicate. Very difficult. But I felt like when he left, I felt like we were on the same page. Like, I felt like he understood what I was wanting. And yeah, so anyway, he leaves, and from what I could gather from the conversation, which was very difficult, he was going to price materials and call me with a price for the job. Great. Well, I wait. Well, guess what? This is a week ago. I'm still waiting. He never called me back. Can you believe it? He never called me back. I'm like, this is the one part, like when he actually showed up, and, I mean, again, I'm stereotyping, but I'm like, okay, this job's going to get done. It's going to get done right. Couldn't even get a call back from the guy. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So then I go through the list, and I reach out to another fellow on there. This guy looked like a good human being. He had a normal job, so I assumed he wanted a little side hustle money. He had pictures of him, his family on there. He was very clean cut. He seemed like a upstanding citizen. So I thought, okay, here's my next choice. I reach out to him, and I sent him a video of the job, like just walking around to kind of show him that way. I hope that he could get an idea of what needed to be done without actually having to come out. And he went ahead and gave me a quote too. Over $5,000. I'm like, you've lost your damn mind. If I'm gonna pay that, I'm gonna hire a professional fence company to come in, not some guy on Facebook, you know. So I'm like, man, I can't get a Mexican to do the job. I can't get a reasonable price from a company that's reputable. Let me see if I can get a day's labor out of a damn drug addict. So I go back through Facebook, and I find this guy on there, and you know, all the other people who responded, you click on their profile, like they look the part. Yeah, I can't prove they're a drug addict, but when you see these people, and yeah, I mean, first off, listen, if you're in East Tennessee, there's a 50% chance you're interacting with a drug addict anyway. And when you get one that looks the part, I feel like you probably up to about 75% chance you got a drug addict. But anyhow, drug addicts listen, they got to get money for their high. Oftentimes they work these construction jobs and they don't show up consistently, but while they're there, you can get a little work out of them. And again, this job is easy for somebody with the tools to do it proper, okay? I just don't have it. And by the time I go and rent the tools I need or buy the stuff, the come along and either build a fence stretcher or buy a commercially made, by the time I do all that, in my mind, I'm like, I might as well pay another $200 and just pay somebody, you know, to do the job for me. Like, you know, that's what I was thinking. So anyway, I find this guy on Facebook. And he looks like a drug addict from the pictures, but whatever. You know, I reach out. He's going to come by, take a look at it, give me a quote. Much to my surprise, he shows up. He shows up on time. Big brownie points you get with me if you show up on time. I'm rarely on time myself. I rarely get anywhere on time. Punctuality's never been a strong point of mine. I'm always late, it seems like, various reasons. But if someone shows up when they say they're going to with me, they get brownie points for that. Like you go from here to here every time if you just show up when you say you're going to. So I guess I expect people to have more respect for my time than what I have of theirs when I show up late everywhere. So anyway, he shows up on time. And of course, he's American, and there's no language barrier between him and I. So very easy communication as to what needs to be done and what is expected of this job. And so he walks around, sees everything. He says, you know, I'll get back with you later on this afternoon. Let me price materials, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay, great. Well, he gets back with me, and I'm like, okay, this is perfect. This is what I need. It was a good price. I'm like, this is perfect. I'm paying for materials and a day's labor. This is exactly what I need. So I'm like, I hire the guy. And he said he was coming Tuesday. I'm like, great. We'll see if he actually shows up. I was not optimistic. I admit, I was, again, drug addicts. And I don't know, I can't, listen, I'm calling this guy a drug addict. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know for sure if he's a drug addict or a drunk or whatever. But again, looks the part. When he showed up, his girl brought him out for the estimate. Wife, girlfriend, whatever. Like, he didn't drive. And I didn't think much of that initially because when I go somewhere with my girlfriend, she drives. She always drives. She gets car sick if she doesn't drive. So she's like my own personal chauffeur. When we go out to dinner or a date or whatever, she drives. But when the guy shows up on Tuesday, and again, his woman is chauffeuring him out there, and she's loitering around the whole time while he's doing the job, I'm like, okay, this guy, he ain't got no license. He's had a DUI. He's got a criminal charge. He's got something. Like, you know, when you go into work, your woman don't come to work with you all day. It ain't like she's out there helping. Her 300-pound fat ass ain't never done fence work in her life. I promise you that. So for her to just be out there driving him around to jobs and sitting around all day, like, there's a reason. Like, he ain't got no license, okay? But nevertheless, he shows up on Tuesday. Not only does he show up, but he shows up early. So again, brownie points for this guy, showing up when you say you're going to, being punctual, in this case early. So he had said he was coming at 9 o'clock. And so I let Daphne out about 8:45 because I knew once that section of fence that I was wanting removed to have this fence expanded, once it was down, like, I couldn't let her back out until he was gone. So I wanted Daphne to go out and potty and stuff. And he showed up early, so Daphne's out there when they show up. And of course, Daphne, very high energy dog. When she meets somebody new that will actually give her attention, she's all over them, like jumping around, going crazy, super excited. Like, so this guy knew I had a very high energy dog. And so, nevertheless, we exchanged pleasantries. I'm like, hey, if you need anything, just holler. I'll be in the house. Because I'm not the type of person who is going to micromanage you on a job. Like, I'm a terrible boss, I guess. But I'm not going to breathe down your neck while you're trying to work. They used to piss me off to no end. Like, I would be, you know, back when I was a nurse, I'd be ER or something, and I'd be doing something with a patient. I'd be, say I'm starting an IV on somebody. And you go to turn, and the patient's family members, like, their head's damn near on your shoulder, like they're looking over you as you try to start an IV. I'm like, get the hell off me, you know? Like, give me a little personal space here. I don't want to be smelling your breath while I'm trying to work on your husband or wife or dad or whatever, you know? People are just rude like that. So, I guess because I'm shaped by those experiences, now if I hire somebody to do some work for me, whatever the job is, I don't do that to them. Like, I'm not going to hover over them. I don't. I go in the house, I mind my business, let them do their thing. So, this guy, he's out there, his lard-ass girlfriend, wife, whatever, she's just standing around. But I see him get to work. He's taking the section of the fence down there that needs to be taken down. I'm like, great, okay. Well, he showed up early. He's got right to work. I'm like, okay, this is going to work out for me. I was feeling good at that moment. So he gets the section of the fence come down. And again, I'm not standing there at the window watching him. I watched him, you know, when he first got started there, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and I'm in the house. I'm doing other stuff. He sends me a text. He says, hey, got the fence down. I'm going to go pick up some fence posts. Great, you know, whatever. So I guess he went over there, Tractor Supply or whatever, and get some supplies, or his lard-ass girlfriend wife hauls him over there to get supplies. And so at this point, again, I've got a good feeling about the guy at this point, from the punctuality and the fact he showed up and got right to work. Like, I'm not really watching him anymore from the house. I'm doing other stuff in there. So about 2 hours goes by, 2.5. I get another message from the guy. He says, I'm done. And I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, there's no way this guy's, oh, we got a damn bass fisherman coming up over here. Why can't we just have 4 hours with people leave us a little space? Hopefully he ain't gonna come over and try to fish this point. I bet you he ain't caught a damn bass all morning though. We've caught 3 or 4 here. Trying to see what he's throwing. Crankbait, I think. So anyway, I'm gonna tell the story a little quieter now that I know I got a live audience over here. Anyway, 2.5 hours goes by. I get a text from this guy, says, I'm done. And I'm like, man, there's no way. There's no way this guy can be done. Hell, the damn concrete in the wood post, it ain't had time to set. You know, I thought what he would do would be dig them holes, concrete the wood posts in down there for the brace, and then start doing the other stuff, you know, to be letting that concrete set up while you're getting your other posts set and whatnot. That's what I thought. Folks, I go out there. This guy ain't even made no brace. He ain't put no wood posts in the ground. He's put metal T-posts, you know, going down the line this way, going down the line this way, and you get down, there's one damn metal T-post. He didn't even, because you can make a brace with metal T-posts. You can do it, you know, like have one here and have one coming off this direction and one coming off this direction. Like you can make a brace with metal posts. He didn't do that. He just had one damn post down here in the corner and, you know, 10, 15 feet this way, another post, 10, 15. Like, I looked at that and immediately I knew, I'm like, this ain't gonna work. You know, like there's no way that wire's tight. He ain't used no fence stretcher. Nothing. He's walked that damn woven wire. He's put metal T-posts around the property line. And he's run that metal woven wire fencing and just hand pulled it and connected it to the post. And I'm like, you can't. I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's no way that's tight. It can't be. You can't physically do it with human strength. You've got to pull it. And so I go out there and I'm like, this is not what we talked about. Like, you and I thought we were on the same page. Like, you saw my dog when you got here this morning, how high energy she is. Like, this fence is never going to hold her. And I go over to the fence and like, I mean, it's wobbling back and forth. Like, there's so much play in it. I'm like, Daphne's going to see there's give in this fence and she's going to be gone. Like, she's stupid at times, but she's a fairly smart dog when it comes to getting out of the fence. Like, she has the ability to see a gap or a loose area. She's gone. I'm like, in what world did you think this was going to be okay, that this was going to be acceptable? He's like, well, you know, you can do this. You can make. I'm like, this ain't tight at all. You can't make it tight. And I'm like, I'm so pissed. I mean, and I won't say all the things I said to him on this video, because I mean, I was cussing him up one side down the other because I was that pissed off. And thank God he didn't get pissed off back. He sat there, to his credit, he sat there and took it. Because if he had been smarted off back, you know, who knows? It could have deteriorated very, very quickly. But I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this situation? Because technically he has completed the job. He's removed the old fence. He's put up the new fence. He's done a crap job at it. It's useless what he's done. It's going to have to be taken down and fixed proper, but he's done it. He's completed the job. And I'm like, I didn't want to, but I'm like, I got to pay this guy. I have to. He's done the job. It's a shit job, but he's done it. So, I mean, I cussed him out. I cussed him out up one side, down the other, but my dumb ass, I paid him. I had to. Thank God he wasn't charging me much, but still, it's the principle of it. He knew he couldn't do the job proper when he come over there. He knew he didn't have the tools. He knew he didn't have the tools to do it right. But he still took the job, and he did a half-ass performance, knowing that, you know, basically, I'm going to have to pay him. And maybe I could have him-hawed around and been like, I'm not paying you the full amount. You know, what's he going to do, sue me? But, like, it pisses me off to no end, because he showed up knowing damn well he didn't show up with an auger. He didn't show up with post hole diggers. He didn't show up with a come-along. He didn't have any kind of fence stretcher. He had no ability, no tools to do this job, to not do it right. And my dumbass, of course, you know, my dumbass, I'm in the house. I'm not even watching him. I'm just assuming he's out there working away. So I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I've said this. I went on a big, long spiel maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, about how I wasn't ever hiring anyone on Facebook ever again. Unless they were a legit business, I wasn't hiring them. I wasn't going to take the chance. Because there's too many situations like this where I've gotten burned in the past by somebody that either don't show up, they get a deposit and they run. They come back and try to hit you up for more money because they say they've run into problems or miscalculated supplies, or they just do a half-ass job. Like, I've been burnt too many times. There's too many just lazy-ass people on there. So I said I was never doing it again. Well, here I go, breaking my own rule. I did it again. And you get what you pay for, folks. You get what you pay for. And I got it, by God. I got what I paid for. I paid for materials and a drug addict's value of a day's labor. And boy, I got it. And now I'm going to have to pay more because I'm going to have to find me somebody else. I got another guy that's supposed to be coming to give me a quote. He seems... This guy is friends of a friend of my mother. Very highly recommended. I think he's going to do a better job. But nevertheless, I've already paid the drug addict. Now I'm going to have to pay somebody else. So even though you're getting cheap labor, you keep having to pay it for the same job. It ends up, what you could end up just finding somebody more reputable to begin with. So I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off at this guy, certainly. I'm more pissed off at myself now for doing what I said I wasn't ever going to do again. It's got this guy over here right behind me. God forbid, we get a little space between, nobody out here on the damn water. Somebody's going to get right up on you. But, I'm just like, why because, a month ago, 2 months ago, I went on a big long spiel about how I would never do it again. And I wouldn't recommend any of you all do it. Hire anybody off Facebook because you just it's not everybody. It's wrong of me. Again, like I'm stereotyping with the Mexicans, I'm stereotyping with people on Facebook. Not all of them are bad, but there are enough people on there that are bad, that are unreliable, that do crap jobs, that they're giving everybody else on there who is worth a damn, they give them a bad reputation. And so I'd said I'd never do it again. And by God, I've done it again. And I'm paying the price twice. I'm going to pay the price twice. So this other guy, he's supposed to be, he said he's kind of backed up with work, which most of these, if somebody's worth a damn, they're book solid. They're book solid if they're worth a damn. So he said he would try to get by later this week. It's Thursday now, so if he don't show up today or tomorrow, then obviously not going to happen. But he said he would come by, take a look at it, and see if he could work me in. Because now, with the other metal posts already set, it's not going to be it's not going to be as long a job now, because you just need now the wooden posts set. And, and have the tools to stretch it around the wooden post. So it pisses me off. I'm pissed off at myself. That's who I'm pissed off at. I knew better. But his price was so good. I'm like, this is the drug addict for me. Like, this is the guy. He was something all right. I guess his girl ain't got no job either, though. She just chauffeuring his ass around all the time. I assume he's got DUI or something. Otherwise, he'd be driving himself to jobs. It's one thing for her to drive him. Maybe he'd come by, they're on their way to dinner or something. He's going to, swing by my house, give me a quote. But like when he shows up on the day to work and she's just there sitting around, like, it's pretty obvious he ain't got a license. So... okay, there goes that guy. I think he's packing up, maybe. Good. I don't like I like telling y'all stories. I don't want to tell stories to anybody around that just happens to be in earshot, though. There ain't no damn reason for somebody to be, especially in a boat, to be up on top of me when I'm sitting here. To fish this area over here, you're going to have to go in between me and the bank, and it ain't that far. So, it's just unnecessary. It's uncalled for. It's a lack of courtesy, like me showing up late everywhere I go. It's a lack of courtesy, but it's just one of the things with me. If you're friends with me, it's one of them things you have to accept with me, that I'm probably going to be 10 minutes late. Anything we do. Nice, okay, nice hit right there. Look right here. Is that another flathead? I think it's another flathead. Another flathead. Oh, he just let go. He just let go. We had a nice thump, and then just slowly went down, didn't it? But he let it go. I can show you here on the graph. We can see him right there where he come up too. You can see him right there. I hope he comes back. He probably felt that tension when he took it over as hard as he did and let it go. I hope he comes back. Good, there goes bass fisherman. He's moving on. Good. Turns out I don't hate that bass fisherman as much as I thought I was going to. Nice to get a bite again. I don't know why I've still got that graph on. I needed it to get out here to get us set up, but now I'm just wasting battery. Turn it. Look right here. That bass fisherman leaves, and there's a bass busting over here. Well, he was right here where he was at when he finally packed up and left. I bet you he heard that whole fence story with the drug addict. Honestly, I want to put this guy on blast, because, I mean, he's hiring himself out on Facebook. Like, he's got an ad on there doing all various types of work, building decks and home repairs and fences and all that. Like, he's got an ad on there. So part of me wants to put him on blast for just being just a crappy worker, because he knew when he come to my house that day, he knew he couldn't do the job. And I don't care if you've never put up a fence before. If you haven't, you're probably going to watch a YouTube video on how to do it, right? I mean, it's 2024, folks. If you want to learn how to do something, you get on YouTube and watch videos on how to do it. That's what we all do. Any video you watch on YouTube, as far as putting up a woven wire fence, which is the material I have around my property, any video, you gotta build a corner. You have to build a corner brace. You have to, because you gotta pull that woven wire tight. You can't hand pull it, because you're gonna have too much play. It ain't gonna work out. So this guy, he clearly didn't know how to build a fence, and he apparently didn't know how to watch a YouTube video either. So the only tool this guy had with him, the only tool he had, was your driver, your metal T-post driver. What he done, I could have done my damn self, easily. That's the only tool. And even getting my other posts out of the ground on the section of fence that we removed, he was like rocking them back and forth with his hand to get them out. Like, he didn't even have a post puller. Like, he had no tools for this job. And he knew that before he took the job. But I guess he just thought, you know what? I'm quoting him a price so low, he won't be able to say no. And he knew he could do a half-assed job to be like, to say he's done the job. Because technically, he put up a fence. It's a piss-poor excuse of a fence, but he put it up. He done the job. But I knew, man, when he texted me, I looked down at my phone, and he texted me and said, "I'm done." I knew it. Before I ever went outside, I knew he had done a half-assed job. Because somebody that's good at what they're doing could do that job in a half day. But, got hit. I knew he wasn't done in no 2 hours. There he is. Oh, another largemouth. That bass fisherman missed one. I didn't see him. I wasn't watching him, you know, I was trying to look away to talk to you as he was coming around right here. But I didn't hear no fish splashing, so apparently he wasn't reeling none in. But yeah, this guy, I want to put him on blast on here so nobody else hires him in this area. But at the same time too, I know if I do that, here I have called him a drug addict and talked about his lard-ass girlfriend or wife, whatever she is, just sitting out there chauffeuring him around the job. As soon as I do, if I put him on blast, calling him out by name, then I'm opening myself up to some legal issues by, I'm not slandering him as far as his work goes, because his work is garbage. His job wasn't worth a damn. But when I'm talking about him being a drug addict or a drunk, you know, I can't prove that. So technically, I'm slandering the guy. So I got to be very careful with how I choose being in a situation like I am here with these videos. I have to be very careful. I can talk shit about somebody, but I have to do it in such a way that it can't be proven that I'm talking about them specifically. This guy, I don't know if he knows who I am or not. If he knew who I was on YouTube, he didn't say anything. And I don't walk up introducing myself as some YouTuber or nothing to anybody. But if he was to see this, he would know I'm talking about him. But nobody else knows, so it's kind of a, you know, good luck getting any money out of me in a court situation. But you know how litigious we are in this society nowadays. If I really went after somebody, I could see, you know, them trying to come after me for something, especially somebody like that. I don't really worry about Wampler Sausage Factory with me telling y'all about how we scraped meat off the floor to run it back through the patty maker, because that's just facts. And I have to believe at some point in time, some government agency, health service, I don't know who checked, there has to be some kind of government agency that oversees the health and safety of the workers and the food and all that at these food processing centers. At some point in time, with what I saw there in my three miserable days when I was 17, they've had some violations. They've had to have. Some government agencies showed up for a surprise inspection and dinged them for something through the years. They've had to have. So, plus I don't know why they'd want to sue me anyway, because I've got them advertisement today by singing their jingle. I'm damn good at singing that song too. I still got it stuck in my head. Wamplers, Wamplers, it's good sausage made on a farm in Tennessee. Don't say sausage, just say Wamplers for the best in quality. It's not really a farm in Tennessee anymore. It's basically a factory building. They sold off a bunch of land to make a trailer park subdivision. And part of their land's got a bunch of solar panels on it. Really all that's left when you go by there is just the slaughterhouse, the factory portion. That's it. That's about all that's left over there. We'll put this bass lure up for a little while. I ain't seeing nothing busting right now. If we see them come back up again, we'll cast again. I'm not like these bass fishermen who just keep casting endlessly and not catching fish. Like I get bored with it quick. Here's what I'm gonna do though, y'all. I'm gonna turn this graph off at this point. You know, I feel like we've covered how, where, and why I've set up how I have. Is it cool to see kind of the fish marks? Yeah, but I'd rather save battery life that way. As I charge this battery for that, I've got a 30 amp hour lithium that I power that graph with. When I use it like I have, And you know, my bait runs, when I take this kayak, I don't use the graph at all usually. I might charge that battery once a month. Yeah, so the less I use it, the less often I have to charge it. When I get home after fishing in this kayak, I like to just unhook it and be done. Okay, right here. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. Oh, did he let it go? Did he let it go too? Well, fiddlesticks. I'll tell you what, let's do. It's been a while. I'm gonna cut another, we're gonna leave that head on. I'm gonna cut another piece of this skipjack though, and we're gonna spruce the body chunk up a little bit, because it's been a while since we got the last fish there, since we switched it out. I don't know how long, but it's been a while. We'll at least switch this out. I could put a white bass head on over here. Here's what we'll do. Let's switch this bait out. I will reel up the skipjack head. We'll take a look at it. And we may cut up one of our white bass. We'll see. See if this bait's even still on here after he hit it. Yeah, it still looks okay. We'll just spruce it up though. Don't hurt to spruce up, especially when it's been down there as long as it has in this warmer water. It's been hit. Oh, speaking of our head, there it goes. There it goes, okay. Okay, let's, una momenta. If y'all's worth a damn, you go ahead and grab that rod. I'm gonna lower this bait down though. We got some fish working through. That's a nice takedown, look at that. Nice takedown. He's taking line now. Okay, folks, I think that's a good one. Y'all should have done grab that rod, man. You should have done grab that rod. What are y'all doing out here with me today? My gosh, that's a good takedown. Now you've let him go back there toward the anchor. Why'd you do that for? I can't count on y'all for nothing. We got some more fish working through apparently. We had that other rod get hit. Now this one goes down. It feels like a nice fish. He's in my anchor rope though. We may be turning that graph back on if we got to pull up that anchor. We got lucky with the flathead coming out of the anchor when he got in it earlier. We'll see about this one. I don't know with this one what he is, if he's a blue or a flat. When it first hit, it didn't look like much, but as the takedown went further, and then even further and further again, and he's pulling line, I'm like, okay, this is a quality fish right here. Damn, he's all up in that anchor rope, man. This is the challenge of fishing in this kayak without the anchor trolley, not being able to put that distance between my rods and the anchor. You know, fishing with a physical anchor, man, my line is rubbing all over that too. We're gonna have some friction. I wish he could just swim out the way he came. I can feel it. You can hear it. You can hear my line rubbing on this daggone anchor rope. I think he's got my other line down there too. Hell, we got a hell of a mess here, folks. We got really lucky with the flathead earlier. He got my other line and my anchor rope and come out of both. This one, oh man, that's solid on there. Well, let me go ahead and power the graph back on, because when we get this done, we're gonna have to reset everything. I saw some, look at them bubbles coming up. Those are some big bubbles, man. Oh, crap. All right. Let's grab the anchor rope here, folks. We're gonna pull this one in by hand. Y'all have done it again. Every time I fish with you people, you make a complete fool out of me. Every daggone time. Every time. It never fails, folks. You sabotaged me this morning, tying my dang anchor rope up when I was trying to lower it. Then, you see this rod going down while I'm trying to lower the other bait, and you let him swim right back there in the anchor rope. And in my other line. I don't know why, we're out here to catch fish. I don't know why you don't want to reel one in. Watch this thing be a monster too, and have us, oh he is, he's a good one. That's a nice blue. All up in that anchor rope. What a mess this is, y'all. This is, listen, you're gonna anchor fish with a physical anchor and a kayak. You're gonna use multiple lines. This is gonna happen from time to time, okay? This is just part of the game. That's the way it is, folks. Where's that hook at? Okay. I'm gonna try to get him undone here if I can. I got the weight of that anchor pulling down on the line. Okay. Oh, no, goodness. There goes my anchor back down. Okay. Okay, what a mess. I'm gonna hold this fish up though. We've earned this fish. By gosh, we're gonna get a picture with it before we send him back down. There it goes, man. You went the wrong way. You could have swam any direction, fish. You had to go that direction, didn't you? You just had to. Whew. It happens. Well, that's a good fish. That's a good fish right there. Dadgummit. All you can do is laugh at it, man. That's all you can do. I'm gonna pull this anchor in, see if we can get our lines undone. We'll probably have to cut some stuff and retie. Yeah, we definitely cut and retying. He got our other line all wrapped up in it. God almighty. Lordy days, help us all, folks. There's our other rig. I'm gonna cut them both, man. I ain't wasting no time trying to sort through this mess. I've been there and done that, folks. You can spend all day trying to sort through a mess like this. Cut it and move on. The joys of an unedited video, folks. When you do something like this, ain't no hiding it. Ain't no hiding it. There's our sinker on that one. Okay, there's one cut. Let's take this bait off. That'll make it easier. Let's take a look at this skipjack head. Yeah, let's go ahead and put a white, when we redo baits, we'll go ahead and put a white bass head on there. Lord, it's a mess, y'all. It's not going to end up being as bad as what it looks because I'm cutting, but it's definitely going to cost us 2 or 3 minutes here for sure. Set that rig up there out of the way. Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go down as far as I can until it gets tangled and snip the line there. Because a lot of this line, the thing is now, a lot of this line is that fish was pulling and fighting. It was rubbing on the rope, you know, friction. And so that's, you get all that friction wear, the friction burn on the line, you're gonna have problems with that. Okay, what a mess. What a mess, man. I can't take y'all anywhere. Anywhere. Every time we fish together, it seems like something goes terribly wrong. All the time with you. Okay. Put that line there behind my seat. Goodness gracious. All right, we got it undone. Snip that so I can get my sinker off there. Put that in there. All right. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Could have been worse. Let's put this behind us. Here, I'm gonna get you all in the chest again. Fortunately, I don't think we've really. We need to back up just a smidge. The wind's just barely pushed us up on here. Just need to come off it just a smidge. Usually when that happens, the wind's blowing, or you're fishing in current and you're a half mile downriver by the time you get everything ready to be reset. So this could have been way worse. Okay, there we go. Send this back down. Tie off again. All right, folks. Crisis averted here. Can't take y'all anywhere. I swear, man. Okay. Well, let's get our things retied here. Man, oh man, y'all just always want to embarrass me every time. I'm supposed to be professional. You know, doing this YouTube stuff, people look at me as if I know what I'm doing. And you all set me up in such a way that it makes me look like I don't know what I'm doing. So let me show you this too before I put the sinker on here. You see that green insert inside the sinker? These are egg sinkers, 8 ounces. Catfish Sumo makes them with these inserts. That way, when you run your line through, and that sinker's running up and down your line when you're reeling in fish and whatnot, you don't get the friction, the wear and tear on your line. Very cool feature. To my knowledge, Catfish Sumo is the only company doing that. To my knowledge, anyway. But again, to plug some more links there, there's a link for them in the video description if you want some. They're comparable price to other sinkers, but you get the added benefit of having the insert to protect your line. So we got that one back ready to go. Let's send it back down. I'm going to cut that white bass head, put it on after we get the other rig tied up and ready. All right, just like that, we got a line back down. How much time did that cost us? 5 minutes or more, probably? Could have had some more fish working through, and y'all missed an opportunity on them. Y'all would rather, this is sad, but you all would rather cause me to look like a complete idiot on my own video than to catch more fish. Now I know that's true, or else you'd have grabbed that rod when it first went down. Some people's just like that, and I guess y'all are. I hope yous are at least smart enough not to hire anybody off Facebook to do work for you, though. Because you're gonna pay for it, all right. It's like I'm gonna pay for it with this fence job. I do need to look at the forecast, though, for this afternoon. I could go get some seed. sow that area with grass today, potentially. I don't think it was supposed to rain much this afternoon, but anything is welcomed at this point because it's been so dry here where I live lately, man. It's been, we ain't had a good soaking rain, and I can't remember when. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's put our skipjack back in here. Let's grab one of these white bass. Good and fresh, just caught 2 or 3 hours ago. Okay. Cut our fins off now on this one. Just take my pliers and this white bass. I got a lot of confidence in white bass, but nothing's better to me on the Tennessee River than skipjack, especially a good skipjack head, good fresh one. These white bass, though, are definitely fresh. But yeah, I may this afternoon, possibly, if the weather, if it looks like we're going to get some decent rain, I may sow that area with grass over there at my house. And I definitely, just to be safe, I definitely need to go try to get some bait around dark this evening. Because if I don't, and I swing and miss tomorrow morning, I'm in big trouble, man, for the tournament in Alabama. What I'm really fearful of the tournament in Alabama is, you know, right now, they've got that tropical storm, hurricane, whatever it is, whatever's left of it. I don't know if it hit hurricane status or not before it made landfall. I just don't watch the news that much. But whatever was left of that storm is supposed to be hitting Alabama today. And of course, they're getting the high winds, but they're also getting some rain. And I'm hoping that they don't get just washed out with rain, because where I'm wanting to fish on tournament day, if they got the spill gates open at the dam, it might mess me up where I'm going, because I'm going to be pretty far upriver. And if the current's really ripping through there, it could mess me up. So fingers crossed they're not getting a ton of rain on Wheeler. I hope not, anyway. We'll see. We'll see what fortunately with TVA, they have an app. It's a free app on your phone, and you can pull up the generation schedule every day. And so if they've increased the flow, if they got the spill gates open, it'll tell you on there. And I'll have an idea before I go down. I may have to, depending on what TVA app says and depending on what other guys down there who are down there right now, depending on what they're saying as far as the conditions go, I may have to possibly call an audible and fish a different area on tournament day. In the short time that I fished that evening when I went down last week, the evening session, I got 3 good fish. And so I'm like, man, if I got 3 in that short a time period, you give me 8 hours in the same stretch of river, like I'm gonna get snagged, because there's so many snags through there. Like I'm gonna have a hard time dragging through the area. I'm gonna lose some tackle. But I just feel like 8 hours through there under similar water conditions, I'm gonna bust 3 big fish. But if the spill gates are open and that area is, and I don't have hardly any experience on Wheeler, and I definitely don't have any experience there when they're running a lot of water. So I don't know what the current flow is through there. And if that current's 1.5 miles, 2 miles an hour through there, which I don't know if it gets that way or not, I don't know. But I ain't gonna be dragging through there, that's for sure. So we'll see. We'll just, I don't know. Maybe I go out there and fish that same area and I anchor. Or spot lock. I'll spot lock. I ain't gonna anchor down there, but maybe that's what I have to do. I got that one fish. We fished it, and y'all have done seen this video by now. I fished like an hour and a half anchored or spot locked, and we got one fish, and then I started dragging, and that's when the better quality came along. So I think dragging is the way to go. But if I have to anchor, I have to anchor. I mean, it's just, you got to play the hand you dealt in a tournament. You can't just wait for the conditions to be right. Whatever you're experiencing on tournament day, you just got to roll with it. So, as long as it ain't storming, and as long as, you know, the wind conditions aren't so bad, and I don't think it's going to be. I think the worst of the wind is today and tomorrow, and blowing out. I think we'll be good on that. But if a tournament happens, you gotta play the hand you dealt, man. That's all you can do. You gotta roll with it. Somebody's gonna catch fish out there on tournament day. Let's turn our graph back off. Save on that battery. Somebody's gonna catch fish. Somebody's gonna catch some big fish. Ryan Bortz, Bottle Rocket Bortz as I call him, he's been down there all week, and he's been messaging me, you know, bragging, boasting about how he's caught all these big fish and whatnot down there. So he's been getting some. I don't know about the other fellas. I know there's several people down there pre-fishing, but I don't know. They've been a little bit more, they either ain't catching nothing or they've been a little bit more secretive of things. I didn't post any pictures of the fish I caught. I wanted to wait, because I knew if I posted the pictures with the background, people wouldn't necessarily be able to figure out where I was at, because there wasn't any landmarks, but they would be able to see the width of the river where I was at and know that I was at least on the river portion and not down toward the lower end where I think most of those guys are going to fish. So, you know, little things like that aren't a big deal, but any information you give out can be used against you, just like in a court of law. Yeah. So I hope it works out. I hope we have a good tournament. Hope the weather's cool. I hope it don't monsoon all day. It sucks trying to film. I mean, y'all don't care about this. I'm just whining here personally, but it sucks trying to film in the rain. Because your microphone, the wind muff on the microphone gets soaking wet, and it messes up the audio, and you've got water on the lens all the time, and you're soaking wet, and it's just miserable. The one perk, if there is one, of the weather being bad is that it'll probably cut down on the pleasure boat traffic and the bass boat traffic. So, silver lining, I guess you would say. But I hope it turns out well. I hope we have a good tournament, good turnout. It's definitely a trophy fish body of water. Somebody's going to get on fish. Somebody's going to catch big fish. That Wheeler has potential of producing 50, 80-pound class fish. Bigger, potentially, too. So anything's possible. You got a bait in the water down there, anything's possible. Anything's possible here where we're at today, too. But the further you go south on the Tennessee River, the fishing just gets better and better. Nickajack, Chickamauga, good. Nickajack's better. Gunnersville's really good. Wheeler's better. Wilson's great. Pickwick's, I mean, like, the further south you go, the better it gets. And I don't know if that's because of the climate. I don't know if it's because maybe less competition for resources. Like up here, Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, you got stripers. To my knowledge, you don't have them as you get down into Alabama. Maybe that plays a role in it. Maybe it's just better management of the fisheries. Alabama, much more proactive with their fisheries than Tennessee is. Tennessee's awful. Everything here in Tennessee is reactive, not proactive. And I mentioned that on a recent video, but Alabama just changed the regulations on skipjack. They saw down there that the bait dealers were out of control, taking as many skipjack as they could get. People were coming in from out of state, taking just coolers and coolers full of skipjack, taking them back across state lines. And so they've put in rules in place saying, enough. 50 skipjack per person per day, and no bait dealing. You cannot sell skipjack in the state of Alabama anymore. So, you know, they saw what was happening and reacted to it immediately before the problem got so out of hand. Tennessee, the problem with Tennessee, the game officials, they can see the problem happening, but until an actual problem with the quality of fish or number of fish, until they can see it in their studies, they're not going to make any changes. Well, at that point in time, if you wait to react until the problem has already run its course and damaged the fishery, you're forever behind on doing anything about it. So, props to Alabama's game and wildlife, game and fishery, whatever their DNR is called. I don't know what it's called down there. I had to renew my Alabama license. I think theirs expire on August 31st or September 1st. I can't remember. But anyway, I just had to get a new license ahead of going down there for my pre-fishing. And so I should know what their DNR agency is called. But either way, shout out to them for being proactive and doing a good job with their fisheries. Damn shame we can't get that around here in Tennessee. Fortunately, we've still got, we've got some good fishing here. It's definitely better. You can't deny it's better in Alabama. The proof is in the pudding. Scroll through tournament results. When these big boat trails go through. When you look at a tournament's got 50 boats or 100 boats in Tennessee versus a tournament in Alabama that's got 50, 100 boats, look at the scores. The numbers don't lie, as the old saying goes. And so you just, for whatever reason, whether it's better management, better climate, less competition on food, whatever, the fishing's better down there. Unfortunately, the football has been better down there for most of my life too. But by gosh, and I say this, and my videos are about 2 weeks behind right now. I'm a couple weeks ahead. So by the time you're seeing this, it's possible Tennessee's already doo-dooed the bed and made me look foolish for saying this. But so far, the 2 games that have been played this season, at the point of me doing this video, of course, the first game was cupcake game. Who cares? Me and UNCUT went out there and beat Chattanooga State or whoever the hell we play. I'm a Tennessee fan. I didn't even watch because I knew it was going to be 60-0 by the halftime. It was stupid. I hate that they have those kind of games on their schedule. But we looked pretty damn good against NC State. We started off slow in the first half, and then by the second half, we got rolling, and we looked pretty damn good. So I don't know that we should be ranked as high as we are, but with a 12-team playoff, if we keep it up like this, I think we got a chance of making that 12-team playoff. Tennessee has a way of disappointing me every year. They like to build you up, give you hope, and then kick you square in the gonads. So it's best to never get your hopes too high. But I think we got the right coach. I think our players look pretty good this year, so we'll see what happens. Alabama's always a tough game. Georgia, arguably the best team in the country, at least right now. Texas is certainly up there on the list. I don't acknowledge Ohio State's existence, so don't bring that crap at me. Yeah, so that's a tough game. SEC schedule's tough no matter what. But yeah, I think we got some bass over here again. Is what I think. I think when I anchored us down again, we're a little bit further to the right than we were before. I think we're definitely not in the spot we was before, folks. When I reset us, we were a little bit further over. Can't cast over there where they're at now, or where there was. Looks like my battery's about dead, y'all. We ain't gonna be fishing. I'm gonna fish. I'm probably gonna put in another hour or two out here. But me and you, our time, thankfully, I guess I should say, our time's coming to an end together, because look at what y'all have done to me today, making a fool of me. How many fish have we got so far, catfish-wise? We got the small blue, then the flathead and blue. We got the blue that was in the anchor rope. So what is that, 4? And we had a couple other bites that just come unbuttoned. That's pretty good. You know, you average that out, it's about a bite an hour, which is, when I'm fishing Fort Loudon, that's really what I'm looking for. The numbers of fish. You want numbers of fish in my area, you go to Watts Bar. Here it's more, Lord, just look at his hair and going by. He's got a lot to say getting his cameo appearance. You old bird. He'll send me a bill in the mail for that too. But you know, I come out here, I'm looking for about a bite an hour. If I get that, I'm pretty content, and especially if I get some quality fish mixed in, which that flathead and the blues were both, or all three of those catches were really good, so I'm happy with that, especially the flathead. Flathead made my day. Y'all could have tied that anchor rope around my pedal drive, tangled up all my rods. I'm still going home happy today, having caught that flathead. That was a dang nice flathead. Definitely the biggest one I've caught in a minute. Really nice, and I'm hoping to get a few more fish out here before I leave. With being we're getting later in the morning now, obviously, but the overcast conditions are keeping the sun from beating down, and the water here today is fairly clear. It normally is from the lack of water flow and the fact we had no rain. It's clearer conditions. So when you got that overhead sun beating down, the later it gets in the morning, typically the bite just peters out, in my experience. Not every day, but most days. So I'm hoping the overcast conditions will maybe keep some fish feeding as they move along a little more. Hopefully get another fish or two before I go today. Just got to figure out what I'm going to do for bait. I'm hoping them skipper, I'm going to go tomorrow morning where I went yesterday morning and where I'd been getting them, and hope that the bite is more on. But boy, if it ain't, I'm gonna go hit a different spot this afternoon. I'm gonna have to, right before sunset. I'll hit a couple bank spots, and if I get bait tonight, well, great. You know, I'll just sleep in the morning and then drive down to Alabama. But you know, if I could get 2 or 3 skipjack tonight, maybe, or at least, you know, figure out, maybe I go hit these bank spots tonight and I don't catch any skipjack, but I see them there. Maybe I just can't reach them. Maybe I can't catch, but I know they're there. Well, then maybe tomorrow morning I go there instead of where I've been going. You know, I got to get some bait. I got to get some bait before I go down there. I got some frozen suckers in my freezer, but I don't want to rely on that. Not for tournament. You fishing with money on the line, I want fresh bait. I want fresh as I can get it bait. You know, all things considered, though, I know the catfish today, we didn't catch, well, 4 fish or whatever, but just the overall number of catches, I mean, we got 3 white bass before we got started, and that cut in, what, 30 minutes or so to our catfishing time before we actually got set up and anchored down to catfish. And then, I don't know how many largemouth we ended up catching, just messing around here, casting the spoon 20 feet. So, I mean, we've caught a lot of fish out here today when you add everything up. Been a fun day. I've had fun, other than y'all just pranking me with the anchor rope nonsense. If I could get y'all to act like a real friend, I'd have more fun, but it's been fun regardless. Yeah, my battery's about had it, y'all. I'm in the red. It's going to cut off. I'm going to tell yous bye here in a minute. I'll give another minute or so, and then I'm going to tell yous bye, because what I don't want to do, this has happened before. It's happened a couple times now on these unedited videos where my battery's almost dead. Like, it'll be like red, you know, like it's almost dead, and a fish will hit. And I rushed the process trying to get it in before the battery dies so y'all can see it, and then I break off, or I lose the fish or something because I'm trying to rush. So I don't, and again, I blame you all for that, not me. Not me rushing the process, it's you. So, yeah. I hate for a fish to bite at this point with my battery life indicator where it is, because it's recipe for disaster. And I don't want to go to a bigger battery pack to get more run time, because this one fits where I need it to fit. So if I get a bigger battery pack to give us longer run time, then I got to redo everything I'm doing here. So I'll just wrap this up here in a minute, and I'll just, I guess, play some Wordscape out here while I wait on fish, since I can't talk to y'all. Get an updated weather forecast, maybe scroll through social media, see what's up with the world, do all that. Thankfully, though, we ain't seen too many of those people today, bigger boats. Just a couple houseboats went by, idling by. Had more issues with the bass fishermen wanting to fish this point over here behind us than anything. Thankfully, look right here. Look right here. I should have known it would happen. There it goes. There it goes. We got one on. Will we land the damn thing before the battery shuts off? Will we do it, folks? Can we close out the video with a fish? It's like they know. It's like they've got a screen down there on the river bottom with my battery life, with the timer counting down how much battery life I have left. And they know exactly when to bite to cause issues for me. If this fish come along 5 minutes ago, we got no problems right now. But this camera now can shut off at any time. So I don't know if y'all gonna see him. I'm gonna tell y'all bye now, just in case the camera shuts off. I'll see you the next video. I'm not gonna film the bait run tomorrow. So next video should be the tournament trip, as long as I catch fish. Just in case the video shuts off here before I can hold this fish up. But yeah, Alabama should be the next tournament, or next video. Is this fish going crazy? You calm it down there, fish. Let me hold you out there. Act like somebody. That's fun size. Nice fish, solid fish. Smaller than what we've got there today, though, so far. But yeah, nice fish. All right, y'all. Hey, how about that? Going out on a high note on the video anyway. Hopefully I'll catch some more here before I leave, but yeah, perfect timing on that fish. We got it in. The camera's still rolling, at least for the minute anyway. But I'm gonna tell y'all bye. Again, next video should be the Alabama tournament, as long as I catch fish down there. I'm not gonna post a skunk video even in a tournament situation, but if I can catch something, we'll put a video up, be an edited video, be a shorter video, but nevertheless, that should be the next one, and yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks for coming with me today. It's been fun.